Yo, 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 this is us trying for the second time. I hope that this works. Let me, I just want to see by watching myself back while we're live. Hang on. Okay, all right.
Sounds good.
So far, I sound like a human being. Listen, guys and girls, for anyone that did join us, I'm going to wait 5 minutes for people to come in, and then I will read out all the super chats. I have them saved. Don't worry, I've not ignored them. I'm not that guy. I will read out the super chats. We'll let the crowd build a tiny little bit, and then I will read out all 13 of them, which I was going to do. And then the Daleks took over. You can tell I don't watch any of that geeky stuff. I'm sure you do, Ben. You're a geek, aren't you?
I did used to like Doctor Who.
Long time ago. Are you a geek?
I'm a proper nerd.
Yeah, thought so.
Sorry. I can't help it.
Listen, nerds run the world. Look at Facebook. Look,
I certainly don't. I have a little coffee shop behind a building, and I'm lucky if I get 4 people visit for a coffee every day. I don't run anything apart from this coffee shop.
By the way, big up Lee saying the Greek salad on Saturday was on point. I'm pretty sure that was probably one of the only things I didn't have anything to do with. Well done to the missus for the Greek salad. I didn't even know there was a Greek salad. I was outside of the garden sweating my balls off, listening to Mark Cousins just singing Johnson again, ole, ole, over
Johnson again,
and over and over again. By the way, big up to each and every one of you. Sorry about that before. I'm apologizing for the internet. If I'm brutally honest, it was not me, just like Shaggy. Big up, guys. I'll get to the super chats in a minute. Where were we? We were talking about who's had the best window. Could you say? Let me chuck a little argument. Could you say that pound for pound so far, Sunderland are having a very nice window? I mean, I know I know we're not talking about they're signing the top players, but players like Talby, players like a Dingra, players like a Granit Xhaka in central midfield. Are Sunderland going about this the right way as a newly promoted club?
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You don't want to buy in too many players because you ruin the team spirit of the group. Fulham came when Fulham came, a few teams have come up. Burnley have done it a few times, and Fulham was the last time. They bought too many players into their team, and it messed up that sort of cohesion in the team. And a lot of the time, you go straight back down. We won't know until Sunderland have played sort of 8-10 games. Is the team working? Is it functioning? Are they defending properly as a unit? Because you can bring in loads of really good players, but if they don't know each other, it's going to be a bunch of strangers out there. You might as well put a pub team out. As we say in running a YouTube channel, everything's about consistency and everything's about solidity in a team. Everyone's got to be on the right page, and we won't really know until they've played a few games, until how Sunderland have acted. But they've brought in some very good players, so big up to them.
Yeah, they have indeed. I mean, I don't want all of you to talk about Sunderland, by the way. I think you'd all get a little bit bored. Danny, hearing this morning from Plettenberg and Romano that a deal is very close between Chelsea and Xavi Simons. Isn't it almost? I know we hate them for the obvious reasons, but he said, I don't mind admitting, I'm so jealous that when they start talking to a player, it's almost like it's not will they get it done, it's when will they get it done? Is that fair?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'll be honest with you. I wish Abramovich took us over when he took Chelsea over and made Chelsea the most decorated team over the last 25 years. So 20 years. So yeah, no, definitely. Like I wish that was Spurs, if I'm honest. Like sitting there with 2 Champions League medals and countless Premier Leagues, some of the best players you've seen play the game have gone through that club. Yeah, why wouldn't I want to see that for Spurs? That's what every fan wants for their club. It's as simple as that, right? So yeah, it's just that Chelsea have ruined football. I know someone said it in the comments, but they wouldn't be saying that if that was Tottenham. They would not be saying that if that was Tottenham.
Well,
so
let me ask then, Philly. I mean, it's a good point, isn't it? lots of people say Chelsea have ruined football. And listen, I'm not going to say I haven't had that fault every now and then. But when we heard that we were possibly getting taken over by Aramco, the biggest oil company in the world, I didn't see many people going, oh, I really hope that we don't act like Chelsea. I saw everyone going, oh, my God, we're going to be able to buy X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
We all just...
They start playing Football Managers.
It's jealousy at the end of the day.
It's jealousy.
Yeah.
It's jealousy.
It's jealousy,
It's jealousy.
It's just, people just don't want to admit it. That's the problem. They don't want to admit the truth.
What I do like about Chelsea getting Simmons here is they've seen a marketable opportunity. They've seen that Leipzig aren't selling Sesko, so they've taken advantage of it and got a player that they actually needed and actually benefits their team in Simmons, and they've actually acted on it and went and got it done. And for me, I have to admire that, because before any talk of Simmons going, there was talk of Sesko going. So now Sesko isn't going. Fair play to Chelsea for taking advantage of it.
The funny thing about them, guys, right? This is the interesting thing about Chelsea is everybody talked about how, their new owners are shit. Look how bad they've done. They've just chucked £1 billion, £2 billion at it. They've bought all these people. Look how well they've done, though, in every player they bring in that they don't want after a year. They're selling for big money. Like this today, apparently Renato Vega. It's like, who?
I thought you were talking Ramon Vega. Chelsea is selling Ramon Vega.
Not club legend Ramon Vega. No.
What year is it, Sava?
No. Chelsea are about to sell Renato Vega, a player that gets nowhere near their first 11, right, for £40 million to Atletico Madrid. This is the equivalent of Spurs, right? This is the equivalent of Tottenham. Somebody we bought in that hasn't played, like Ashley Phillips coming in, not playing for the first team and then going, right, go to Atletico for 40 million. Guys, I don't mind admitting, I'm jealous. I'm just jealous.
Bro, I'm going to take it even further than that. Look at Aston Villa, last summer, right? They bought in Diaby, the year beforehand, and then last summer, because he didn't work out, they sold him on for the exact same money the year after. So they realised that Diaby wasn't the player that they wanted. And so they moved on like a big club and said, you know what, it's not worked out after a year. Let's just move on to somebody else. And you know what, I like I said to you, I admire that, because that's a big club that realised that the player isn't good enough for what they want. So let's move him on, and then let's lose that money to rebuild. And that's what they did. And they bought an Onana from Everton.
Yeah. Just quickly, by the way, Philly, you are lagging. No one else is. Your audio is lagging terribly,
Snap,
mate.
crackle, pop.
You've got I think you might need to, are you on a phone or a tablet or?
I'm on a phone, mate. So I might have to reset my phone and then come back on again.
Yeah, if not, send it to a laptop or something or whatever. But yeah, try again. Come back in.
All right, cool.
Big up to you. By the way, breaking news that Man City apparently have no plans to sign another midfielder this summer, having signed Cherky and Reinders.
Yeah.
City are happy with their midfield strength, so apparently no plans to go for Tottenham bound.
It's another thing I actually wanted to bring up, right? That the fact that people were believing this absolute BS about the PR that Marinakis has offered him to City, and it's just the biggest load of shit I've ever heard, right? I'm going to say this now. Morgan Gibbs-White is going to be a Spurs player. It's a matter of time. I'm never this positive when it comes to Spurs and transfers. But
why are you so positive then? What makes you so positive on it? Danny, I want you to be right, by the way. But why? Why are you so positive on this one?
Just what I've been told and what I've heard, and also just what I see as well. It's a mixture of everything. It's a mixture of everything that I've seen. This is your without saying what I know, this is your typical case of let's get more players in to replace the outgoing player before we let go of our best asset. It's as simple as that. There's no other way that Forest would like to let Gibbs-White go until they have got their replacements in, because the truth is Marinakis didn't want to sell Gibbs-White for £60 million, And because for the last 18
he's
months...
he's been caught with his trousers down.
Yeah, he's been caught with his trousers down.
And most importantly, Danny, the reason he's offering him to City is because City have a player they want, which is James McAtee. That's the player they want. They knew the release clause was there. They knew Morgan Gibbs-White was edging for a move because he wants to join a club that's playing Champions League football because he's got ambition. He sees himself as playing Champions League football in the year of a World Cup.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be wanting to play top level football because let's face it, as much as we want to believe that football is a meritocracy, Thomas Tuchel is only going to be playing footballers that are playing for the biggest teams, playing in the biggest competitions against the best players. That's who he's going to pick to play in his World Cup squad. Yeah. You're not going to get that playing Conference League football unless you're Cole Palmer, who is obviously mercurial and amazing. That's the only one, really. Maybe Conor Gallagher, but he's playing Champions League football. So, Marinakis is trying to wheel and deal, get a player in James McAtee who they can control because they won't have a release clause anymore, and get a player out the door.
Well, it's also Ben, because
they've been caught with their trousers down. That Spurs are saying we need English players. Spurs need English players.
Yeah,
we need homegrown English players. He is a very decent price for a very, very high level English player. Get it done.
Well, not that you're forgetting. It's just the fact that Marinakis has been trying to get him to sign a new contract, and he's basically been slapping them in the face for the last 18 months because he knows that what's in his contract. His agent knows what's in his contract, and he knows that if he doubles his wages, which most players usually would do, right, is they'll go, yeah, I'll do that because they just see the money and they're like, yep, no problem, right? But then what they do by doing that is they tie themselves to the club even further because it makes it even harder for someone to go and pay what the club actually want or what they value the player at, right? The asset, that's what they are, right? So he knows that by not doing that, it gives him more power because if someone comes in and activates that release clause, he knows they've got no way they can stop it, right? Because if a club legally try to do this or legally try to take this to court, so to speak, right? Tottenham have got more of a chance of winning than Forest do because there's no way Forest can prove what they're trying to accuse Spurs of, right? But Spurs can actually say, well, we offered this. Spurs could turn around and say, well, this is what we do. This is what we thought we valued the player at. So we offered this. Oh, sorry, we didn't know it was a release clause.
Oh,
they
know.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying,
but you can't prove it.
I'm saying you can't prove that, right?
Exactly.
You can say, well, we just made an offer because that's what we value the player at, right?
Yeah, that's whether everyone knows that's bullshit or not, you can't prove it, can you?
Yeah,
I reckon what happened, Morgan Gibbs-White went and got his fella to go to Spurs and say he's willing to come to you. This is what you got to pay for him, basically. Because I think, like Ben said, and I said it before, we got the World Cup coming up. He wants to be in Champions League football. Now, if that's what he really wants to get to a Champions League team for, to get to play in the Champions League and the best football to get into the England team, then going to City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool ain't going to do no favours because he don't get in the first team there, in my opinion. Okay, he'll see games and whatever and that, and he'll be on the subs bench a lot, I think. He goes to Spurs. As long as he's fit, he's playing 38 games basically at least.
And I think Morgan Gibbs-White will be. We can see the mentality of the player. I think he would be fast-tracked into not being a vice captain, but in and thereabouts of the leadership team. He wants to be seen as a big fish, and he's more likely to be a bigger fish at Spurs than he is at a Manchester City. But I think this is going to end very, very badly for Forest. Everyone's spoken about this. The Premier, as much as we think Premier League owners all despise each other, they don't. They're all meeting each other week in, week out because the Premier League, they all talk with each other. What this will do is what they've done to Crystal Palace. I've said it multiple times on my stream, on Tottenham on Tour here. I think what they've done to Crystal Palace is a disgusting thing. And Forest have instigated that by saying, look, the multi-club ownership, when Olympiacos and Forest are owned by the same people. So they're doing the same thing. I think it's disgusting. So the Crystal Palace owner is going to be like, I don't want to deal with them anymore. Then The London clubs, we've now tried to muck up. I as much as I hate Daniel Levy, there is no doubt in my mind that they've done this by the book.
Yeah,
they did it with the Basuma thing. Their legal experts are excellent. The legal experts on the board.
Daniel Levy we're talking about.
Are some of the best.
This is where you want Daniel Levy. Yeah. This is one where you want him.
They make. Although we say, why don't we do due diligence on players like Ndombele, when it comes to law and legal and doing things by a book, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club will always do things by the book. And that is a good thing. I think they have done this by the book. And for Forest to firstly kick Crystal Palace out of the Europa League, which they have earned through the meritocracy, they've earned that spot in the Europa League through the meritocracy of winning a trophy. They've won that opportunity just as we've won a place in the Champions League by winning the Europa League. They earned that place and Forest have stopped them doing it. Forest will end up being the pariah of the Premier League where no one will want to deal with them anymore. And it's only going to end badly for them because no one will sell them players in the Premier League. So they'll have to buy players from abroad only. It will end poorly for them. If you're doing business with other teams, you've got to have a good relationship. You've got to have good relationships with your other teams in your peers in the Premier League.
What did Forest actually do wrong with Palace? What did they actually?
They've obviously reported them to UEFA and told them multi-club ownership because that's what happened. Because that's what happened with Forest. Forest because they want the Europa League spot and they didn't earn that because Palace won the FA Cup. They got pushed to the Conference League.
But then there must be a rule in it where they've told them basically that they shouldn't be in there because of this rule. Whether it's
Jonathan Textor has sold.
Or whatever. I'm asking what's gone on.
Jonathan Textor has sold his share in Crystal Palace. So there's no multi-club ownership anymore. Textor is not involved with Crystal Palace Football Club.
So whereas Marinakis kick him out.
Before he sold his shares?
But they've resolved this. They've resolved the situation, put them back in it. Just like Lyon were kicked out of Ligue 1. They have resolved the financial situation, put them back in.
But whereas
what
shouldn't have been in it
by the rules, Wolfie, by the way, Wolfie's in the chat. Whereas Marinakis still owns part of Forest, still owns Forest, and he still owns part of Olympiacos. There is still multi-club ownership,
right? But
it's illegal.
So basically, from what you've said, but from what you've said and everything, they've still gone and kicked Palace out. Palace shouldn't have even been in there because of the rules. Okay, they've changed everything out afterwards. Whatever's gone on, I'm not sure.
And the precedent was set down. Girona and Man City were in the Champions League last year. Girona and Man City are owned by the same owner. They will play in the same competition. I'm going to be totally honest, and I'm thinking of my club and my business, and I know, right, if I go and say that because they get taken out and we get put in the Europa because there's obviously a law there that gets them taken out of that, I'll go and do that. I'll do what's best for my club. I don't care about your club. Sorry. I know people have got different attitudes in life, but I'll do what's best for me and my business. Then people can turn around and say to me, whatever you want. I'll turn around and say, well, I'm in the Europa now. You're not, and get on with life. But I get where you're coming from. It's a dirty way. But Girona are owned by someone in the chat said they've got a different board. They're still owned by the City Group, Girona. They are owned by the City Group.
So why have you?
So why are they allowed to play in the Champions League with Manchester City?
This is what I'm trying to work out here. Talking to you about
money.
It's
called money.
Then, if there was no rule in it and it was sorted out, then why was Palace kicked out? I don't blame Forest for that at all.
It's like
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Hang on. What was that thing? What was that film where you said something? Was it Candyman?
Candyman.
Yeah. Was it Candyman where you said it 3 times in the mirror?
In the mirror.
Wolfie just heard Marinakis and Fox.
Yeah.
It's like you have cameras in my room. Like I just came to my office, turned the stream on, and all I'm hearing is Forest kicked Palace out of Europa. Yep. Explain how.
They wrote a letter to UEFA saying they're owned by the same owner. Kick them out.
What did the letter say?
I don't know what the letter say. I haven't read it, but we know
you don't know
what
the letter said. But that letter's what got Palace kicked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've written a letter to UEFA.
Write that letter, would Palace still be in Europa?
Well, the multi-club ownership has been sorted out, so they should be let back in Europa League.
No, that's not what I asked you. If Forest didn't write that
letter, the letter wouldn't have gone there. would they have even done that? Because UEFA then obviously haven't done their job of checking everything properly and then say, well, Alice, you're not meant to be here.
I will say,
Forest have had to tell them that.
Didn't write the letter.
To be fair, the main Forest are a big proponent on it. The main problem is Crystal Palace have fucked up as well. They fucked up as well by giving UEFA an info email for UEFA to send them emails, which is what every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Now you're changing
the narrative because you were saying Forest got.
They have. They've written a letter to UEFA. We know they've written a letter. We know they've. I don't know. I don't. Most of I don't care.
The letter that you don't know that was sent got Palace kicked out.
We know it's been sent because the media's reported it.
No, I'm not saying the letter didn't get sent. I'm saying you don't know what's in that letter, yet you're claiming this letter is what got Palace kicked out.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So by that logic, had Forest not sent that letter, then UEFA wouldn't have done their due diligence, wouldn't have enforced multi-club rules, and Palace would still be in. Yeah?
They've resolved the issue. Put them back in. They've resolved the multi-club ownership.
But they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Wait. So they've resolved the multi-club ownership. So that's like saying, if I bought a gun and then shot someone with it.
No, that's a totally different situation.
That's going to
be totally different.
I love that.
Totally different situation. You can't change. But someone actually murdering someone, Wolfie, you're just
murdered someone. I've learned my lesson. I've sold my gun.
You're winding people up now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's silly. That's silly. That's silly, Wolfie. Come on, mate. Come on, that's silly.
The analogy. When Palace,
no, it's a stupid analogy. They've resolved it. They've resolved the problems. Put them back in.
Did they resolve the problem before or after the fact?
They've resolved it. They've resolved the financial issues with Lyon. They've resolved the financial issues with Lyon, and they've put them back in Liga. They've resolved the multi-club ownership with Palace. Put them back in the Europa League. It's not started yet. It's not started.
They should have been there in the first place, Ben.
It should have been there in the first place.
Can I bring a middle ground? They've resolved it. Middle ground to this. So I think the question here is that, first of all, I kind of agree with both sides. First and foremost, I think Forest are dicks for sending that letter. But UEFA, right? Oh, God, it's my front door. God, this is a never-ending day. Hold that thought.
Typical bloody Stabber.
The thing is, Forest have done absolutely nothing to get Palace kicked out. And that's what a lot of people don't accept.
They have.
Until you tell me what Forest have done to get Palace kicked out, I'm here for it.
They basically pointed the fingers and say, have a look over there, mate. It's like
they did.
But if I pointed the finger at Sava and said he'd nicked my wallet, does that mean Sava's nicked my wallet?
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know if Sava's nicked your wallet.
It's an accusation until proven guilty, right?
Exactly. But would I be the person proving Sava guilty or not guilty?
Well, it depends if he is guilty or not, really. Yes, that's what it all comes down
to.
The
main issue is the way
Sava stole my wallet. I then am the person who will be the judge with my wig in the court and declaring whether or not Sava's guilty or not.
No, of course not.
Okay.
Either way, the Europa League has not started yet. They have resolved the issue, put them back in the competition.
But they shouldn't have been in the competition. No, Ben, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Now, when it comes to grassing someone up, you do that in anything out of business or whatever. Where I've lived, you're lucky if you get home. But it's not about that. This is about football and it's about business at the end of the day. Yeah. Now, if Spurs were in the same position as such, and we're in the Europa Cup, but we know that Arsenal in fourth place are in the Champions League. But they're owned by this and whatever, and by these rules, they shouldn't actually be there. And if we go and send,
I agree with you. I agree with.
Hang on, let me finish, Ben. Let me finish. Right, we go and say that Spurs are going to go in the Champions League. Arsenal now go in the Europa. Now, what would you expect the owner of the club to do if he didn't go and do that and get us in the Champions League, whereas he could have by doing it that way, whether it's morally correct or not? I bet you most of the people would be sitting here saying, Levy, what are you doing? You can get us in that Champions League. And what? Exactly. Do you think I care what every other club out there thinks about my... I'm in the Champions League now. We've got an extra 110 million to spend. We're also in the Champions League, this and that. Maybe it comes down to UEFA or whoever should be doing their job properly. They shouldn't have been in there, full stop. So
Well,
I don't think Forest have done no wrong.
their job? How about Palace did their job and put Textor shares in a blind trust or got around the rules?
Whatever way you want to put it.
Yeah, but Dan, what you say is bang on, because the scenario could have happened. Let's say you lost that Europa League final and Man U got into the Champions League. Man U also have multi-club with Nice through what's his name? Jim will fix it, wherever his name is. Yeah. Let's just say this props up. Would you guys be sitting here saying, "Oh no, Levy, don't you dare try and get involved"?
We didn't earn a right. We didn't earn the right to be in the Champions League. We finished 17th. We were lucky to win the Europa League.
None of you.
We were lucky to be in the Europa League.
Sitting here saying, "Do you know what? It's not our fault, man. You didn't sort their affairs out." Levy has no right, though, to go.
Be fair, Wolfie, if we lost to Man United in that final, it would have been embarrassing. Whether it was right or wrong, we won the right to be in the Champions League.
Irrespective of what? In that scenario, are you
irrespective? Man United were dreadful last year.
So Levy gets you into the Champions League over Man United. Are you telling me, honestly, you're sitting here saying, "I'm not having that. I don't want to be in the Champions League. Man U deserved the Champions League. Spurs should declare they should."
If they would have won the Europa League, they would deserve to be in the Champions League through the meritocracy of football.
I haven't said Palace don't deserve to be in the Europa League, by the way. I'm saying in that scenario, Spurs get into the Champions League because Man U didn't sort their multi-club ownership out. Are you sitting here saying, "I don't want us to play in the Champions League"?
I don't believe in multi-club ownership to begin with, so I don't know what you're going at here.
Multi-club ownership. That's the thing.
If we had not got into the Champions League and finished 17th, I would say rightfully we didn't deserve Champions League football because we were awful.
But would you reject getting Champions League football on the technicality?
It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want them.
Kind of ends it then.
I don't want Spurs to be making ourselves look like an absolute. I don't know.
So you would I want Spurs to against Spurs playing in the Champions League next season.
If we didn't earn it, it's through the meritocracy of football. We didn't earn it.
So if we got it through that, then you should be saying that we shouldn't get in the Champions League. That you wouldn't want us in the Champions League. We should do what is morally correct.
I would rather them give that Champions League spot to a team with higher coefficient than us that's actually earned it through the league.
Wow.
That is what it is.
Ben, what morals do you think exist in football?
They don't, but I can only judge through myself. I can only work through myself and my business.
What's the saying for it? It's a dog eat dog world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sam's favorite.
Hang on. As Dan's put in his normal saying, can I just say, guys, right? Honestly, I don't know what's happening. I've just answered the door and there was a recorded delivery for me. Right? Look at this.
Sean's got a good point. Does the runner-up of the Europa League
hang on. I'm in the middle of saying something here. Hang on.
You're going to the door, Sava.
Right?
Oh, good chat.
That's quite
Someone's bought a football. I did not purchase this. Right?
Happy birthday, Sava. Love you, bro.
82.
Is sending me a Football Heritage TV made-up shirt in my
That's
colours.
quite sick.
That's quite nice, you know.
That is quite sick, actually.
I like it.
Who's actually sent that? This. Is there no letter with it or anything? No note or nothing.
Nothing. So I've asked if the wife's sent it, but I can't imagine she would. Anyway. Sava 82. That's not my age. That was the year I was born, just in case people were wondering. Look, I think the difficult thing here is I think there's merit on both sides, right? Let's be fair. I think Forest are dicks for sending that letter. However, Wolfie is right. UEFA still would have known that it wouldn't have been like a shock to them going,
exactly.
No, what? You mean Palace have done what? But it's still a dick move. But, right? The question is, if we are done with this whole John Textor issue of multi-club ownership, the question is, does them having it previously mean that they can't go into a competition next year once that issue has been resolved? So if now the multi-club ownership isn't an issue and Textor has sold whatever his shares were in the club, meaning then, and if I'm right, someone tell me if I'm wrong, meaning that they're now no longer under multi-club ownership.
Correct.
They should therefore be allowed to be in in Europa League, because technically they're now going into Europe, not illegally. But it would have been illegal if they had multi-club ownership. That's my understanding of it, right?
They've resolved the issue, Sava. They've resolved the issue.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, so
that's
what
not,
is the
that's
issue
not
now?
the issue. That's not the issue. That's like saying, great, if I'm going to take my A levels, but I've sat there, done the test and failed it. But 3 months down the road, I'm going to sit there, check the answers, do it again, and I resubmit it and go, here you go, can you mark this one? Doesn't matter. I've missed the cutoff. The point is the cutoff. Before the cutoff date, which is emailed to them from October, which, by the way, they didn't read, but that's Forest's fault.
What, Wolfie? Sorry, just to
Was
explain.
was there a cut-off date? The competition hasn't started yet. The competition hasn't started yet, and they would be in the group stages. They'd be in the group stages, which doesn't begin until November.
Ownership. That's the thing. There's a cutoff date. If you have issues of multi-club ownership, you had until the 1st of March to resolve your shares into a blind trust or sell your shares or whatever. That's the point. There's a cutoff date, right? They missed that cutoff date. In fact, Parrish has admitted he didn't even see or read the email. And then he tried to claim, oh, this email goes to a generic inbox, info@palace.co.uk or whatever it is. And the point was,
which is bonkers. Shame on him for that. That's bonkers. That's bonkers.
Exactly. So that's
two things can be correct, Wolfie. Two different things can be correct.
What's the other different thing?
The thing is, they've earned the right. The multi-club ownership has been resolved. Steve Parrish is also an idiot.
It hasn't been resolved.
It has been resolved.
Has it? Why?
Because Lyon and Crystal Palace are no longer owned by the same owner. It's been resolved.
So Textor's sale has been ratified, has it, by the Premier League? When?
It has been sold, though. He's sold it. It will go through the fit and proper ownership test, and they will say, done.
Okay, but has it been done?
I'm not sure. I don't look at the Premier League website.
The answer's no. It usually takes 2 to 3 months. It's not official until the Premier League ratify the sale. So as things stand, technically, if you want to do technicalities, Textor still has those shares. Premier League take 2 to 3 months unless they fast track one to get the ratification.
I think they could get it. They could probably get it fast tracked.
Why should they really want it to? Why should they do it faster? Why should Palace get special dispensation over any other Premier League club?
It's not to special dispensation. It's to make sure
that 2 to 3 months to ratify a sale in the Premier League on average. Right.
If it takes that long to say that someone sold something, it's a bit wrong, isn't it?
It's not, because you have to do due diligence, you have to check the money, you have to check the background of the person buying it. There's a lot of stuff that has to go through.
It doesn't take 3 months. Won't take 3 months. Well,
you can say it doesn't or it does, but that's what happens.
So, see, this is interesting, right? I mean, I don't have a dog in this fight, to be honest. Like, it doesn't involve Spurs at the moment, but does the runner-up of the Europa League get the spot if the winner has already qualified? So
nope.
Nope. Hang on. So who is Sean saying? The runner-up of the Europa League. So that would have been what? Man United, right?
Yeah.
So he's saying if Spurs had done something wrong, the runner-up would then get the Champions League place. Is that what he's saying?
They don't get that. That's not how it works. It's not like the that. In fact, that doesn't even happen in England anymore. Do you remember when it used to be if the FA Cup winner won, then the runner-up would go into Europe? They got rid of that years ago.
In Wolfie's scenario was Man United won the Europa League. They get kicked out because of multi-club ownership. We would be given it. We wouldn't be given the spot because we finished second. They would give the spot to the nearest highest coefficient in whatever league, whether it had been Italy or Spain or France. And that's who they would have given it to. They wouldn't have given it to Spurs.
Basically, the better scenario would be that you won the Europa League, but you also qualified for the Champions League via finishing 4th, for example. Yeah, that spot then doesn't go to Man United. Do you get me? That just becomes null and void. So you would have qualified technically through 2 different means. Does that make sense? So you won the Europa to qualify, but you also finished 4th in the league. It doesn't then give the spot to the person who lost in the final.
In everyone's mind on this panel, who should be in the Europa League? Should it be Nottingham Forest or should it be Crystal Palace?
Crystal Palace.
I only say that because the rules are what they have been, is that based on merit, the fact that they've won the FA Cup, which is a very hard thing to win, right? They deserve to get that place in Europe, right? Because that's what they've set out as the kind of prize, as well as the trophy and the little money they get from winning the FA Cup. The big prize is Europa League, European football, right? It's like.
Has there been any examples? Again, I'm asking a question. Has there been other examples of this? So I think someone the other day said possibly Salzburg, Leipzig, both from the RB.
I'll give you an example, Sav.
And Girona. Is there any other examples?
Example. Yeah. When we finished fourth and we dropped out the Champions League when Chelsea won the
Chelsea. Yep.
Yeah, because Chelsea
That's
won the
a different
trophy.
situation. That's not multi-club ownership.
No,
it's
That's
not.
not multi-club ownership.
I'm talking about the multi-club ownership.
Oh, okay, right.
Are there any other examples in recent years where this has happened and the clubs have both been allowed to compete?
Probably, but
the two Leipzig ones, Man U and Nice, Girona, Man City.
So why is this different?
I'll tell you why it's different. Because in those scenarios, all those clubs that had conflict got their blind trust done before the cutoff date.
Before the cutoff point. Okay, so this is about date rather than. Okay, so Rolfie, right now, if UEFA come back, I'm just trying hypotheticals, and then I must do some super chats. Got to. If UEFA came back and said, we acknowledge that Crystal Palace didn't get this done in time, however, due to administrative errors, we acknowledge that this wasn't on purpose and they are reinstated. Would you be pissed off now to go drop into the Conference League?
No, because I think both competitions are beneath me, so I don't really care either way. My only thing in this whole thing is how wound up D has got over it. Because, like, you know Rich as well. I love Rich, right? And I would have loved Europa for Rich, right? For Palace fans to see Europe for the first time, it'd be nice for them. You know, they get the L plates out. It'd be nice for them to have their first and probably last tour. So I'm not bothered on either one. Forest, the thing Forest did wrong here was bustling the top 5 last season. Be all
Point to the stars, Wolfie.
Huh?
Point to the stars. Just point to the stars.
Wait, which one? Do you want me to point to the left or the
that
right?
One. Just do that. It's beneath you.
But that's my point. Forest shouldn't be in this conversation because we shouldn't have bottled it at the end of last season. So I don't care Europa or Conference. You can spin one either way. If you're in Europa, you're more likely to attract better players. If you're in Conference, you probably end up winning it. I don't care either way. All I care about is what it's done to D. And I'm loving it. Because D is losing his absolute
Let me ask this question via Crypto from Forest Fan TV, a peer, a teammate of Wolfie, should we say. Big up, Crypto. Very generous super chat indeed. By the way, I am just reading that Everton are apparently bidding for Kubo of Sociedad. I don't know if that's true. Just putting that out there. This guy top left, great name, by the way. Ben Kaufman. Ben Kaufman has the worst argument ever. It's like stealing a car and then giving it back a month later and saying the problem is now sorted. Also, the legality isn't affected by a letter from Forest. Now, would you like to respond to said super chat, Ben?
Well, I would.
They've not actually broke.
His name is Ben as well. That's why he's bigging up your name.
Big up.
Oh, I see.
They've not broken. Well, they've broken a UEFA rule, but they've resolved the issue. Just let them resolve. They've resolved the rule. They've resolved it. The competition hasn't started yet. That's where I'm coming from. If the competition have already started and they've not solved it out, I would totally agree with the whole Forest point. They've not sorted out, but the competition hasn't started yet. Just let them enter the tournament. They've resolved the issue. They've resolved the issue with Lyon being in League 2 now because they went financially bankrupt or whatever it was. Let them compete in the competition.
Whoa. You're throwing some crazy facts around here. Firstly, Lyon are back in Ligue 1.
That's what I said. They've resolved the issue. Lyon are now back in League 1.
Correct. And secondly, the competition's already begun. What are you talking about?
Not the group stages, which they would have qualified through.
It doesn't matter. The competition's already begun. And thirdly, that's like saying, okay, when Forest broke PSR, they resolved it about a month and a half after the cutoff date for PSR. But Forest still got docked points. We saw Brennan Johnson too. In fact, it was linked to Spurs. Once we sold Brennan Johnson, we were clear of PSR. Should we have been docked points?
No, probably not. Probably not.
So what? Okay, so off that logic, what's the point in having cutoff dates?
Because the group stages hasn't begun. They would have qualified through the group stages.
Yeah, but the league hadn't started when Forest sold Brennan Johnson, technically speaking.
The transfer date was still in force, though, right?
No, we had the letter of intent, the agreement, and everything was done before the league started, but Forest still got docked 4 points.
I personally don't think they should have been docked points. That's just me.
But what you're saying, Ben, is there is no point in cutoff dates, is basically your argument.
The cut-off date should be the start of the league season.
Why?
Because that's just a good starting point.
So what happens? What
How did you
happens
get
if they
in
miss that cutoff date by a week? Would you then be saying, yeah, fair enough, Forest should be in?
Hang on. Can we ask the question? How did you let yourself in?
I always find a way.
How have you possibly just let yourself into my channel?
Kinky.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, as in enter the stream?
I haven't sent the link.
Well, you're not the only person.
I bet you're
who's been
using
hacking, are you, mate?
reusable.
You're not the only person who's
using
been
a
hacked.
reusable studio, aren't you? Stuff.
How have you done that, Sean? I
He's
didn't send you the
probably-
link.
Magic.
Danny
using a
Kyriakis
reusable
has sent him the
studio.
link.
I am sneakier than Marinakis when it comes to an asset that I need a piece of.
That was me, Sabah. I sent him the link.
Yeah, but how did he then get onto the show? I didn't.
Oh, that I don't know. That's
Oh,
magic.
you might have clicked the setting that says instant access granted.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, you might not want to have that setting on, Seth.
Yeah, they've changed a few things round on StreamYard, didn't they?
There's a setting that says go to settings, and there's a setting that says allow instant access or something like that. Turn that off, bro. Otherwise, you're going to have more of what happened last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, worst case scenario. 12.
And you've got the other one where
As
you
you
can
were.
use the same link for every show, basically. You got that on there as well now, ain't you?
Sean, what camera are you using, man? You look beautifully crisp today, mate.
It's called occasionally having a shower before you jump on. It's called a nice
I
skin
had
routine.
my shower because Ben got literally dragged me onto the stream now.
Yeah,
after
no,
his
skin routines,
podcast.
mate. Get some L'Oreal in the hair. Get some little bit.
What
of,
camera are you using?
Bit of moisturizer.
What did I just give away all my secrets? It's the Osmo Pocket 3. It's the one that I take my dog out for. I walk on. It's a wonderful camera.
It's quite a good camera.
Well, welcome
And
anyway.
here he is.
No, I only want to pop on just quickly. So I wanted to ask Wolfie a question. Not this wasn't. It might be loaded. It might be a loaded question
From you, it will be. Go on.
Yeah.
No, but it genuinely isn't because at this stage I'm not sure on like the outcome. So if you tell me something I don't know and it turns out that it kills my question, then it was just a question. But if
Yeah,
it
fair
turns
enough.
out that actually you're going to say what I hope you're going to say, then it's 100% loaded, loaded fries. Okay. The question is, if Nottingham Forest had not shit the bed and finished the season in the Champions League spot,
Mhm,
and Olympiacos had also finished in the Champions League spots,
mhm.
your owner essentially did the same thing as what John Textor tried to do, right? But both owners didn't do it until after March, which was when the new time limit or the sort of am I right in thinking that it was March that you had to have done the
Half right.
Yeah.
So John Textor hasn't done it at all.
Right, okay.
Marinakis got it in by, well, I think there was a day of April the 31st or something like that. That was a requested date from UEFA. So initially that was the original date. I think you had to get everything in by 1st of June. What Palace are crying about is that in October, the email said you've got till the 1st of March or whatever it was. So Marinakis got it in, technically speaking, late. So I would be sitting here potentially because Olympiacos got into the Champions League and Forest could have found themselves being demoted to
in the same
Europa,
exactly the same
to the
situation.
Europa
Right?
League. But
Yeah.
my anger wouldn't have been aimed at Palace or technically say Villa. It'd been aimed at Marinakis. And I have nothing but love for the guy. But if he was the one who didn't get his shares sorted in time, I would be blaming him.
Would you feel the same way though if it was whoever it was that was going to benefit from the Champions League spot not going to you, to the team above, going to the team below that would have qualified instead, if their owner sent a letter trying to encourage the litigation that followed, would you then be going?
Well, if I
keeping
knew what
those
the
out of that
content
business?
of that letter was, then I would have to make my opinion off the back of that. As an educated person, I would like to see what the letter says before making speculation. However, I would have no problems with any football club owner trying to embetter their team.
Yeah,
Because
okay,
that's what all clubs would have. In fact, I don't understand any fan who doesn't want to see their owner
no, I agree with that.
force what's better, rightly or wrongly, or whatever moral stance you want on it. My anger,
do you have a
if
problem with
Forest had
Daniel
missed
Levy?
out, if Forest had missed out, my sole anger would have been at Marinakis.
Okay,
You wouldn't
so
like
on
it
the
if it happened to you,
that's
but
fine.
you
That's
deal with
absolutely
it.
fine. That's
Exactly.
reasonable. Just real quick, on that basis, do you have any vitriol towards Daniel Levy for potentially taking advantage of an NDA, or do you have any problem with the agent leaking the information that he maybe shouldn't have leaked in order to better his client's career?
So now we're talking about legal versus illegal, which is a different conversation.
Well, again, we don't know the content of the letter, though, do we? Because what Marinakis was trying to do in writing that letter was take advantage of a legal loophole. Right?
No, but in the hypothetical you just put, you said the
Yeah.
agent leaked or Daniel Levy did, then you're talking about illegal versus legal.
Not necessarily, though, because it could be in the grey area, right? Like if all they said was, oh, by the way, it might be beneficial for you to bid somewhere between 60 million and 60 million and 1 penny or something like that, or 6 million and 2 pennies.
What's between 60 million and 60
No, sorry, yeah,
million?
no, I hate me. I fucked up. 59, if you might want to bid somewhere between 59,999.99.
I get it.
You get the point, right?
Yeah.
So if they're dancing through and around the technicality to get the point, which to your logic is just to the betterment of the agent's client or to the betterment of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, then by your logic, it's the same principle that you shouldn't be angry with the agent, you shouldn't be angry with the player, you shouldn't be angry with the opposition club. You should be okay with that conduct being utilized as a.
So you're talking from my personal perspective,
because they're just doing what is best for them.
I'm just asking you to be consistent with the logic.
So from my opinion, I have no problems with Gibbs-White being sold. I think I've been on with Sava where I've said I value him at about 60. So my opinion, I don't really care. My only thing in this is my personal hatred towards Spurs. So if he was to be sold elsewhere, I find that hilarious.
So you just
I hear that. I hear that, but I'm not trying to.
My point is, I don't care if you get him for 60 million. I would like you to get him for 70. But
no, that's fine. I'm not asking you about the actual play, the decision of the player. I'm asking you about the logic that you use to justify the behavior of Marinakis in the Europa situation. Yeah. Rightly or wrong, basically it comes down to the fundamental point that you're saying that you have absolutely no problem with the owner of the football club, whichever football club, doing what's in the best interest of their football club. Legally. That's what you would expect from your owner, and therefore you should expect it from everybody else, right?
No, legally. Because Marinakis, what he's done or hasn't done in the whole Palace thing, there's been no cry out of illegality. What we're talking about here,
he is utilizing whatever was written in that letter, and you make the point. It's an interesting one that unless you know what's in the content, you can't really judge it. But technically, we can make the assumption that if he's sent a letter, he is leaning into the laws and the rules of the game. Therefore, he's pleading to a legality clause to try to force the issue that's in the betterment of his club, which by your own logic you're okay with, correct? So on that,
if you're making that assumption on that letter.
Yeah.
However, the talk on that letter is that he was asking for a clarification on the rules. But anyway, let's go with your hypothetical.
Yeah, on the hypothetical, but we also don't know the legality issue, any of the conduct or what was taking place with regards to the agent, the player. But on the presumption that...
But what we do know is that the accusation has been made.
Right, but there's an accusation that was made from Marinakis as well, right? And an accusation, by the way.
No, that's what I'm saying. Marinakis has made the accusation, or Forest have made the accusation that Spurs have illegally approached Gibbs-White.
Oh, yeah. I mean, last night and this morning, we've had 15 people in the Tottenham community making accusations that we're doing certain things for certain reasons. And it's not just people can say what they want, right? But if you don't know the content, by your own logic, you can't really speak on it.
I'm gonna make it.
You're using your own words.
No, I'm trying.
I may have been one of those making the accusation. Anyway, go on.
I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Sean, is
how you approach the Nottingham Forest situation. Then you can't surely be angry with anyone at all with regards to the Morgan Gibbs-White situation.
But who am I angry with?
That's what I'm asking you. Like you can't have a problem with it in any way, shape, or form. Not an angry whatever.
No, I
but the
can have
angry
a
thing.
problem with it. I can have
Why?
a problem with it. If what I'm saying, and this is what I've said from the start, if Spurs have approached him illegally, then you shouldn't be able to put the transfer through. But even if you've done that, that still gives me a problem of a player that I don't want at my club, right? So that's one thing. If you've approached him legally and the clause is in there, then the fault of this lies on whoever signed off on that clause. That's like my stance. So I'm giving you two ifs. If Spurs have approached him illegally, then that's just pathetic by Levy.
Do you think we'll ever know? Do you think we'll ever know the detail there?
I think we will by if he stays or goes, or if he's sold on the 60 million or Spurs up the price. I think we can read into the scenario.
If Tottenham Hotspur pay 65 million quid, you can infer that £5 million is hush money or whatever else.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with you there.
Exactly. So I think we'll be able to infer. Will Marinakis or Levy ever come out and say, you know what, my bad?
Yeah, there'll be NDAs that have got more clauses in there than the one that was in the original contract.
Exactly.
So if Spurs pay the extra 5 million, you're basically saying it makes them look guilty.
I think so. I think so as well. I think it makes Tottenham look like they've got their hand caught in the cookie jar. Or
I just don't see a scenario.
Someone somewhere done something wrong. Someone somewhere.
I think there's two scenarios you could argue with that. Either Spurs have done something wrong, or they've just had a discussion and said, look, we can make your life, Forrest could say, we can make your life hell. We know you found out illegally, whatever. Here's an extra 5 mil. Or you've got the scenario where the terms say pay 60 million up front, and Levy and Marinakis eventually speak to each other and say, okay, let's do 65 with a payment plan.
Right, but to extent, you're right. Like you're right. Like it doesn't necessitate a £5 million.
But it points the finger towards it.
It only points the finger because at the same time, if Tottenham have done everything by the book and have looked at the clause, understand the clause, however they've got information about it, regardless, and they've done everything necessary to pull the trigger, then the fact that that Nottingham Forest owner is just not answering the phone, and at the same time making his player, which should be our player by this stage, if it's all by the book, play for your team and risk injury. I think that Tottenham Hotspur look guilty by the silence there. Like if I've done everything by the book,
I agree.
And then you're just saying, sorry, it's like a debt collector banging the door down because you owe 50 grand, and you go, I'm not on la 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 la. Like you can ignore it as much as you want, but at the end of the day, someone's coming to take your money or take your property.
I agree with you. Do you know why? Because if you've triggered a release clause, the conversation between club to club barely exists.
Yeah, it's just send over the contract.
You do the release clause. You get the player to do their medical. As long as you've agreed to the payment terms of it, you basically send them the cash, and that's it.
Exactly.
There's no say from.
It's been dragged on for 2 weeks. To me,
exactly.
It suggests to me that Tottenham are either in the wrong or the agent's in the wrong, and either way, Tottenham, because Daniel Levy can't just sit there and allow someone to ignore him for weeks and weeks and weeks, and there's no progress.
Just quickly, sorry, if anyone wants any transfer news, just to make them feel a little bit more sick about how far behind we're falling. Chelsea are close to completing a deal for Xavi Simons and have now just started club-to-club talks with Ajax for Hato.
He's crazy good.
Hato.
But was there an NDA?
Chelsea just, what is it? Simons, Hato, whoever they want, they're getting. I just thought that was interesting. And if anyone doesn't believe me, I promise you.
Mate, the really twisted part about this is that Tottenham, in a world where dream world, ludicrous, crazy, silly situation. If Tottenham went and signed Morgan Gibbs-White, got just say an Eze or a Rodrigo dream world scenario, a Vissa and a Polinia and a Douglas Luiz, and you had a dream window, the best window that Tottenham have ever had, we would still be further away than when we started versus Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
Oh,
like you can only do what you're doing, but we might have so much leaps and bounds, but they pulled away so much. You could have the best window you've ever had and still end up further away from your competition.
Yeah,
quite crazy.
What was I going to say? The thing I don't get about Spurs is in that week or the week building up to the whole Gibbs-White thing starting, I felt like you guys had a bit of momentum. Kudos coming in, suddenly Gibbs-White was like, I remember me and Savile were talking, it's like, you're saying we're Spurs, we don't do things,
we don't do this.
Clauses. And I just feel like a handbrake's been pulled up.
Yeah.
And like, what's happened since? It's like,
Marinakis passing a McDonald's drive-through.
Mate, I'm just saying, my guy comes in and not only does he stop you getting Gibbs-White, but he literally puts your recruitment on freeze because they're just sitting there, redial. No one's answering, redial. Nothing can happen.
I've got to ask you though, Wolfie, and I'll sort of hand back to the rest of the panel. Sorry for coming in and taking over a little bit. What you said you absolutely hate Tottenham. Why do you hate a club that's so much bigger than yours and so irrelevant to you in the grand scheme? I don't really understand. It's like me having a passionate hatred of like Bayern Munich or of like Real Madrid. Why? Like,
let me ask you this: Have you got a brother?
I know why.
Jordan, have you got a brother? No. Do you have a brother?
Your brother, isn't it, Wolfie?
Yeah,
exactly. I've got a brother. Yeah, I've got a brother. Yeah.
Who does he support?
He doesn't really. He's Tottenham, but he supports rugby. He's a rugby guy, really.
Okay. Oh, my brother's Spurs.
Fair enough.
So that's why the rivalry goes back.
So it's nothing to do with the fact that we're so much a bigger club than yours, and we're largely, you're just sort of chomping at our.
It's all brother. You know where it really started? Like when we were. Do you remember the triple header FA Cup matches where the second one snowed?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. That was amazing.
Yeah,
that was amazing. Yeah.
I was like it was like a quarter final or last 16 rounds? That was like when we were both properly getting into football, and it just kept going back and forth. Ian Wone scored those free kicks. It went to the penalty shootout. Ian Wone. Yeah, Chris Armstrong, I think, scored for you, if I remember right. Yeah, that was when football was football, boys. Like, let's be real, right? There was some.
I remember. I couldn't like. It was on the screen because I think the game got called off right at like half.
Yeah, because it snowed. In
the first half, they didn't have an orange ball. Maybe they did have the orange ball, but you still couldn't see it.
Yeah,
the snow
was so heavy. The snow. Yeah, that's where it started. And then off the back of that, obviously we won on the penalty shootout with Mark Crosley, Big Norm running across, and then me and my brother ended up in blows. Mum pulls us apart. Grounded for a couple of weeks.
Fight.
Yeah, it basically did. Yeah,
the older brother, the younger brother.
He's younger.
He's
taller than me now, though. So Forest Spurs is less interesting. But yeah, that's where it happened.
Fair enough. So
it was that match.
And also dangle the rod one more time to see if I can get a bite here because you haven't bitten so far. So it has nothing to do with the fact that Tottenham are a bigger club than you and always will be, and that you guys think after one season of finishing about 6th or 7th, which is still
questions already been answered.
Yeah,
all
okay,
to do with my brother, and also my first football memory was Forest Spurs FA Cup final '91 as well. That's when I started supporting Forest. Yeah. Right. People ask me, but hold on, why did you back the losing team? I was like, well, I didn't know it was going to win at the end. Do you know what I mean? It's just like this red team. They were called Forest, and they had this dude in a green jumper and stuff. So I was like, yeah. So there is a lot of interlinking, but is there a rivalry outside of my kind of paradigm?
Family.
Not really for me.
I think there is now, though. I think there is now. I think gently
there is now. I think I've created a lot of it as well. But yeah, you took Andy Reid as well. That one annoyed me, and Dawson in that double deal.
Yeah,
so that
Andy Reid was the fattest footballer I remember playing in a Tottenham shirt.
Hey, honestly, he was talented, bro.
He was a good player. Yeah, he's a good player. But he was a chubster, wasn't he?
But they both ended up coming back anyway. Yeah, he was never in shape even at Forest. There's a lot of that stuff. And then I went to. We hadn't played you for ages. I think it was in 2014 where we got you in the League Cup. So,
you beat us, yeah.
No, we lost to us. But I went down there with my brother because it was the first time Forest had played Spurs since we'd been relegated. You won. I think you won 3-1.
Did you beat us in a different cup, in a more cup game more recently?
Yeah. We beat you in the League Cup about 3 years ago.
2021, 2020.
Jesse Lingard scored, mate. That's how bad you lot must have been in that game. But I'm talking in 2014. I think it was 3. We took the lead. But what my brother do is if we ever go to Forest Spurs matches, if Spurs are at home, I'll go in the home end with him, and Forest, he'll go in the Forest end. So I remember sitting there, me and my brother and my cousin, like my cousin's a Liverpool fan. We scored, and me and my cousin like. But yeah, that was the story between me and Spurs.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. You didn't bite, and I love that about you. You're very calm and cool, and coordinated with your answers.
Hang on. He's not when he's on the Football's 12th Man podcast.
No, I saw that. That was great, though. That was a great.
By the way, Wolfie, are you on the show? Are you on the 12th Man tomorrow?
I am, but till 4:30.
Because do you know who's hosting the show tomorrow while Dan Potts is on holiday?
Who? You.
This guy. This guy.
I'll be on until 4:30. Then I've got a call. Then I'll be back after the call at 4:30. So I'll be in and out. Yeah.
Dan said to me, he said, bro, I'm on holiday. Any chance you can host Football's 12th Man? I said, yeah, pleasure. I said, how come you didn't ask Wolfie first? And he said, are you crazy? He said he'd kill my channel in about a minute. He didn't say that.
Delete button, mate.
He didn't say that. So the conclusion we've come to there is that Crystal Palace should be in the Europa League and that Tottenham are a bigger football club than Nottingham Forest. Is that what I'm getting from everybody?
I'd actually disagree with the second point. I disagree with the second. I would disagree that we're a bigger club than Forest. I'd say we're level.
I'd
say Spurs. In recent history, Spurs are more successful than Forest. In recent history, but we're both in that medium-sized club.
No, we're not.
That's ridiculous.
We're not a big club, Sean. We're not a big club.
That's ridiculous.
We're not the biggest clubs. We're in the second tier, but Forest are in the third.
We're in the same tier as Forest.
No, we're not in the same tier. We're not in the same.
Oh, what are we doing here?
Absolute sense. Sava, is it a little weird that
you set him off now, Ben?
Would you argue that Spurs are probably a bigger club than Forest? You could probably argue it, but I think we're all in that same. Just below the big clubs. The big clubs are Arsenal and Chelsea, and then you've got the massive clubs, which are Man United and Liverpool. I think there's a hell of a lot of people in that medium-sized club thing.
Absolutely sound. Because you could put Spurs, Forest, Villa, Newcastle, those kind of clubs.
We're all medium-sized clubs. We are medium-sized clubs. Whereas then the big clubs are Arsenal and Chelsea, and then above that are the gargantuans, which are Liverpool and Man United.
Yeah,
that's the way my logic works.
Yeah, and then you got Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Who's a more successful club financially? Who's a more successful? Spurs are a far more successful club
on every metric bar one. Which is those two little stars above his little tree there,
which are massive, Sean. They've won two. They've won two European cups.
Yeah, but when was that?
How many league titles have they got?
One.
How many Premier League titles have Spurs got?
Premier League titles.
You've got two.
You've got two. Right, okay. So you chop one of that. So you chalk one off. So they got one more. We got one more.
A European Cup is bigger than a league title. A European Cup is bigger than a league title.
I don't know.
Go to America. I bet you see more Spurs shirts than you do Forest.
Oh, you would do.
Bigger fan base, bigger stadium.
Go anywhere around the world.
It's a different question.
The thing is. Hold on.
Hang on.
Let me just say one thing.
One of you. Honestly,
let me say one thing.
All five of you talking.
Right. Let me say this. Right. Nottingham Forest, when they won those trophies, then at the time were one of the biggest clubs with what Brian Clough did with Nottingham Forest, right? Yeah. But that is quite old history, right? It's a long time ago, right? If you're looking at the last 20 years, right? Because that's more recent to our lives. And
who's the youngest person in this room? Who's the youngest person?
Tottenham are a bigger club than Nottingham Forest in the last 20 years. That's a fact.
How old are you? How old are you, Wolfie?
23.
23. How old are you, Ben?
You're not 23. 23. Bloody hell. So no, I'm not the youngest person in the room. Who would have thought?
23, but I remember the FA Cup game in the night.
Sorry,
look who it is.
Wolfie, are you trying to believe that Wolfie's 23?
Ben, do you actually 23?
No.
Let it go. He's older than me. Look at him. He's older than me. Wolfie's got 19 children and 4 wives. What are you talking about, 23?
I ain't older than you.
I don't know anymore. People say that
my logic might be wrong. I think Spurs are a medium-sized club.
Your logic is very wrong.
Why are we a big club?
Guys, one sec. Wow. 1 sec. So everyone's talking at once. Let's have a look. All right. If we're going to put Spurs and Forest in the same pot, let's have a look at this, right? This is every year since the Premier League started. Here we go. From here, right? From here.
Ridiculous.
So in the first ever season, Forest got relegated, right?
Yeah, we got screwed that year. We got screwed.
So in the 33 seasons since the Premier League started, Forest.
Hold on, Sam, can I ask why did you start history from 92?
Hang on, can I get through one sentence, please? One sentence, right?
Explain your premise. That's all we're asking first. Explain your premise.
I'm trying, Wolfie. If I'm allowed to talk, I'll get there, mate. From the 33 Premier League seasons, Nottingham Forest have been in it once, 4 times, 5. 8 out of the 33. So in 33 years since the Premier League started, Nottingham Forest have been in it 8 times, right?
Yeah.
In what world are we going to turn around and say that they could possibly be classed as a club the same size?
It's like saying that JVC is the biggest name in cameras. Like, you're not you used to be. You used to be. I mean, anyone holding up one of those like Nikon GoPros, whatever, in the last 25 years. You and also around these days. You were yesteryear. And congratulations, you had a good pass before you were alive, Wolfie. Before you even knew what Nottingham Forest was.
Are we saying the longest participant is the best? I mean, what's the highest you lot have finished in the Premier League in these 33 years? Second. So in all those attempts, you finished second.
What's your highest?
What's your highest?
Third.
Let's have a look. When did you finish third? You finished third. You did.
So we win that particular metric. What else? Next metric?
No, I'm just saying. So your metric is. Your metric is.
Wolfie, you weren't aware.
You weren't the longest.
You forgot you finished second. Right? You were hoping that metric was going to have you at the above us, but it wasn't. You failed.
No. Wait, hold on. I remember the season when it happened with the whole Leicester thing, right? You finished second in a.
No, we finished third that year.
Third. What year did you finish second?
We finished second in 2018.
Behind Chelsea.
17, 18.
17, 18.
I think it was. 16, 17. 16, 17.
Finished third when Leicester won the league.
Yeah, we finished third in a 2-horse race, if you remember.
How did you finish third?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
the same way you guys finished 5th or 6th.
No, 7th.
Can I ask Wolfie something? Can I ask Wolfie something? Because at morning,
yeah, they would take Archie Gray, Wolfie. They would.
No. Because I saw Danny, you'll be eating out. You know, you'll be saying, you'll be apologising in a year or two's time. You keep knocking Gray. I'm remembering. Just want to ask Wolfie.
Lubo knows where you live now, Dan.
Yeah,
oh my God, let him ask the question.
Well, I saw something on Twitter the other day just talking about Forest players coming to Spurs. We had Michael Dawson, we had Andy Reid, we've had a little gap, and then we've had Brennan Johnson, and now hopefully we'll have Gibbs-White. Do you agree with what people have been saying, that Forest are becoming our feeder club again? What do you reckon?
What, over you signing one player? One player.
Well, he is your best player and your captain.
He's not our best player and he's not our captain.
I've tried 4 times in 10 minutes. 4 times in 10 minutes to get Wolfie to bite. He doesn't bite very easily, mate. He's a hard fish to catch.
Milenkovic.
Do you think it is because he understands where Forest are in the pecking order compared to Spurs, and he's just obviously... Yes, he's...
I don't think he does, mate, because if he could count, he would see there was 10 places between us.
Is that right? Okay.
That would be it. But yeah,
but that's okay.
What were you saying, Danny?
You know what, Wolfie, yeah. I will swap your 7th place for our night in Bilbao. That's okay. That's absolutely fine.
Lubo, are you of an age to remember when Forest won the European Cup?
I absolutely do.
Fantastic.
I absolutely do.
Because it's good to see. It's good to see that you guys have some heritage in here, you know, to name the channel. Exactly. And it's good to see that, this whole myth of people weren't even alive when you won it. Well, here you go. One of your pristine panelists on here and was there for my channel, right? So let's not do this whole these 2 cups don't exist, man. How good was my team back then, Lubo?
They were very good. They were very, very good.
It was a one-man team, though, wasn't it? One man. It was all because of Cloughie, right?
What? Robbo? Ask Lubo about Robbo.
John Robertson.
John Robertson. I've heard that Robertson's one of the best wingers ever in terms of dropping his shoulder, getting that ball across.
They had a very, very good side. You know, they had hatchet men at the back who didn't take any prisoners. You had people like Larry Lloyd, didn't you?
Yeah, Kenny Burns. Yeah.
Good players. They were good players. You had a good side. I mean, I was travelling into Europe. I'd seen Spurs by the time you won the European. By the time you won the
Cheers, Shawnee.
By the time you won the European Cup, I'd seen Spurs win the UEFA Cup. I travelled to Feyenoord when we lost the final. I've seen us win a few FA Cups and League Cups. And
Lou, but when you won that UEFA Cup, were your fans singing Champions of Europe, or did they have more shame than that?
Listen, that's. It's a shame that people like yourself, who obviously love your club that much, haven't actually seen the glory days. And I say that, you know, and I say that to you, Ben. You're talking about Spurs being an average-sized club. Unfortunately, you haven't seen Spurs the way I've seen Spurs.
I didn't say average. I said medium. I said medium.
So
Medium is okay.
Spurs are a big club. We're a big club. We're not an elite club like a few of the others who are winning trophies on a regular basis. But we are.
Are we bigger than Forest? Are we a bigger club than Forest, Lubo?
Yeah, but that depends on what metrics. This whole bigger thing and whatever.
The way I see it, Spurs are a much bigger business than Nottingham Forest, and no one can deny that in any way, shape, or form.
I agree with that.
As a club, as a football entity, as a footballing entity, I think we're in the same pot. That's where I'm coming from.
That's ridiculous.
We need to do more collabs.
The funny thing is, right? The funny thing is,
sense coming from Spurs fans, you're bang on.
I don't think it's common sense. It's the way I see it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll happily put my hands up and say I was wrong. I see Spurs.
Lubo,
let's face it.
Hold on.
I've grown up.
Ben, I'm going to end this argument, right? Lubo, can I ask you a question, right? Were you around to see the Greavesy days?
I saw my first game in '65. And Greaves left, I think it was 69 in the swap with Martin Peters.
Yeah, so the people I speak to, like my dad's age and people around his age, right, a little bit older than you, Lubo, they say at the time Spurs were a much bigger club than Forest was, right? Forest became the club when Brian Clough took over, right? He won those titles in 79 and 80, wasn't it? Right?
79.
Right? Before that,
82, wasn't it? Forest.
No, 79 and 80.
79 and 80.
80 because they were the first club to do two. No, they weren't the first club. Real Madrid did, but
back to back.
Yeah, back to back, right? But the thing is, before that, Forest weren't the Forest team that won those trophies, right? Tottenham were a bigger club. Tottenham had set records before Forest had ever won anything in Europe, right? We were the first team to ever win in Europe, in England.
Yes.
First team to do the double, right?
Yeah.
So you can't take that away from Spurs. And just because we haven't been as trophy laden as say some of the other teams in the last 20 years does not mean that Spurs are not a big club. So I refuse to believe when you say Spurs are an average club, or medium.
I didn't
club.
say we're an average club. I said we're a medium. It's okay to be medium.
No, but hold on, Ben.
Okay to be medium.
Spurs have won the 5th amount of trophies in England for an English team, right? For an English team, that says it all. If you say that Spurs are not, if we're going to go on history, right? Let's go on history then.
With six most trophies. Six most trophies.
All right, 6, right?
Wait, we're doing charity shields in that, just for clarification.
So whatever the trophy's a trophy. Whatever's defined as a trophy is a trophy.
I don't know. We're doing Arteta trophies or real trophies.
I'll bring it up. 1 second.
I need to go. I'll go. Cool.
25 or 26 altogether in it, or 27, something like that. I think it's about 26 or 27 we've won altogether.
We're talking about.
Yeah, but would you agree there's weight? There's different weight on trophies. Would you agree with that?
Of course there is. Yeah, I do. There is different weights on trophies, yes.
Yeah. And my trophies weigh heavy.
The way Ben's looking at it, the way I see it, you're basically saying Celtic are the same size as us.
Possibly. You could argue that Celtic are a bigger club than Spurs. You could argue.
You can actually.
You could argue Celtic are a bigger club than Spurs.
Globally, Celtic are massive.
Yep.
They are absolutely massive.
I have not seen. I've seen one major trophy in my life being a Spurs fan. There are other fans that have seen more, fans that are older than me. I have not seen that. I refuse to say Spurs are a big club because I've only seen us win one major trophy in my life. So I need to see it. I need to see the glory. Before I say Spurs are massive, I've got to see it.
Just before Wolfie goes, so that's English clubs by trophies. That's the history of football. So Liverpool
and two of those clubs have won it in 3 of those clubs have won in the last 20 years. So
Tottenham would have been. I mean, look, before the Chelsea and City money came in, Tottenham would have been in the top 4. But it is what it is. So Chelsea and City have overtaken us. Villa are a couple behind. Everton, and then you go to the also-rans with the Newcastles, the Forests, and the Wolves. So Forest are down there with Wolves and Blackburn.
Wait. Wolves have got loads of decent trophies as well. You're not putting weight into this, Sava.
I mean, doesn't size of club also come down to fan base?
Wolfie, I didn't do anything. I just brought up a list of the trophies won by clubs. But let's be fair. When you're saying I haven't put any weight in it,
what's that Super Cup one in the middle?
It's a good question.
Because that says that's domestic, isn't it? It says FA, EFL, Premier League. No, not that one. The one to the right. The one to the right.
In the middle, next to cups.
Oh, come
Community
on. We're doing
Shield.
Community Shields, bro. All right. On that note, I'm off, man. I'm off. You're doing the Arteta.
You do realize you only get the opportunity to win the Community Shield by winning something big. The other side.
Is that true?
Right?
Is that true? Are you sure you want to stick with that?
On that metric, you've won more charity shields than we have. No?
Yeah, I don't count
Oh, no, you
charity
haven't.
shields.
No,
Wait,
sorry, I'm
Sava.
looking at the wrong table.
Sava, are you sure on that?
Am I sure on what?
You can only win that by winning something.
Or if you are in a losing finalist and someone won both cups, right? By both the league and cup.
Or
go on, get your point out.
Or if you finish second and win nothing, and the team that finishes first wins the FA Cup as well. Why do you think Arsenal have been in so many?
Okay, so your go-to in this argument is about charity shields. Just
no, it's not. I just asked what that was because I genuinely didn't know what Super Cups were that were domestic. Cool.
Well, I mean, you've won it once. That's probably why you don't know what it is.
You didn't know what it was. What are you talking about?
I know, but I'm not putting weight onto it. I'm putting weight onto. You say about the weight of competition. Spurs have won
put weight on league. I put weight on league and Champions League. That's
so Spurs have won what? The Spurs have won what? 2 league titles, 12 cups. We've won in Europe. Is it 4 European competitions? I think we've won.
Yeah.
4 European trophies. Huh?
The baby ones, yeah.
But hang on, when you're saying the baby ones, when was the last time you were even in Europe to win a baby one?
Bro, when we go in Europe, we win.
Wolfie, when we break it down, you had one little golden period in your history, didn't you?
No, we had at least 2 or 3, like in the late 50s as well. Forest winning the FA Cups and what have you.
We took over. That was just before we took over.
Yeah, that was probably your golden period back then as well.
Well, listen, our golden period, we won 13 trophies in 40 years between 61 and
Lubo, would you agree? Would you agree that Forest met some serious corruption against Anderlecht?
When
the ref got bribed in the semi-finals.
But Leeds did it against Bayern Munich in Paris in the 75 European Cup final. Derby did against Juve in the European Cup semi-final.
Correct, but
Cody was manager then, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah, ours was proven.
And the offside goal, I've got to tell you something. The offside goal that Chris McGrath had knocked off at Feyenoord when it was 0-0 and 2-2 on aggregate in the first half, that was never offside by a million years. And Feyenoord beat us in that second leg in 74. And the handball against Sissoko, that was probably the worst decision in Madrid in 2019. I think the worst decision.
It was.
When the ball bounced off his chest onto his arm, and the referee was very, very quick to give a penalty. I think it was just
20 seconds.
Was that bribery? Was that bribery?
I think was it bribery? I think God knows what it was. It was just horrendous. The decision was horrendous.
But ours was bribery.
Difficult to say bribery without having proof, because that's a bit of an accusation. But you look at what's gone on. I mean, you're not the only one that had horrendous decisions. No.
I'm not talking about horrendous decisions. I'm talking about factually proven bribery.
Can you prove yours was bribery or just rank?
Yes, man, it's already been proven. He got paid off. The ref. The Anderlecht Forest semi-final.
Do you know what it was? Do you know what, Wolfie? You should have paid him more, shouldn't you?
On that note, I'm really late for my meeting. Big up, boys. Good to catch up with you.
See you, mate.
Good to see you, Wolfie.
Enjoy the rest of the stream.
Keep being our feeder club, Wolfie. Keep it.
Good on that, mate.
Oh, that's all right. We'll take Milenkovic.
I've got the finger then. I've got the finger.
Just quickly, guys, I've really got to do some super chats. I'm going to do them in 2 halves. I've got 24. So I'm going to do them in two halves over two streams. So I'll start with the ones from the earlier stream, which I won't be able to bring up, but they are on the earlier stream. A new member, Join Us was the name. Join Us is the new member. So big up to the new member. Join Us. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. There was Ben Kaufman, been a member for 11 months. Said, I forgot I had this thingy, Bob. Big up, Ben. Thank you for that very well written sentence. Tweak put in a super sticker for £3. Thank you very much, Tweak. Very, very generous. Tim, the naive cheater, has said, put in £10 and said, have that Mackey's on me, lad. Of all the football content creators on YouTube, yourself and ironically Lee Gunner are the best in my opinion. You hold the clubs we support to proper standards. Keep it up. I agree. Me and Lee Gunner are the GOATs. Absolutely. Big up to you, Tim. Really appreciate that. Martin Knightsbridge came in and said, people stay toxic. People stay your toxic pot. People stay your toxic pot kettle, mate. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Right, yeah. People say I'm toxic. Pot kettle black. It's funny, isn't it? For all the people that call people like me toxic, they're the ones that can't stop making videos and comments about other people. But yeah, it's silly. Big up, Martin. Appreciate that. Nick B said, so many jealous oddballs on YouTube. Sack them off. Big up, Nick. We'll sack them right off, mate, and wait for them to get bigger so that they can understand why we do what we do. Big up, Nick. Daniel Harris said, big up for creating proper content. Cheers, Dan. Thanks for coming on the show last night as well. Really appreciate you, my friend. Mark Taylor said, just want to talk bloody football. Big up, Sava. Big up to you, Mark. That is all we want to do. We want to talk football. We've got no time for all these fake rivalries that these grown-ups are putting across the internet. It's so ridiculous. Big up to you. Honestly, whenever I speak to my mates or my wife or anyone about this thing, they all turn around and say, how fucking childish is it? It's absolutely ridiculous. Grown men making videos about other grown men because, oh, they did this and they said that. It's absolutely shambolic. Big up Mark Taylor. Shem Tan has become a new member. Big up to you, Shem. Thank you very much. Look forward to the channel member-only show, which might be tomorrow, but it might have to be Friday, because I'm hosting Football's 12th Man podcast tomorrow, so I might not have time to do that because Dan's on holiday. Big up Shem. Craig Fenner. So keep going, Southern. Keep your head up. These people are jealous. Getting upset lets them win. Your real fans like myself will follow you anywhere. Craig, thank you very much. Yeah, listen, I'm human. It gets to me at times, but hey, I've got to man up a little bit and sweep it away, haven't I? Big up to you, Craig. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Shem Tan's come in with a £5 donation. So put a pair of glasses on Danny K and put a hat and glasses on Sava. Can you tell them apart? Laughing my arse off. Do Danny Kyriakou and I look similar? Let me just swap. Do Danny and I look similar, or are we just both Greek with big noses and a beard? Is that what we doing here? This is yeah, okay. We're just both Greek with big noses. Big up to thank you for bearing with me, guys. Big up to Emma Morton. Thank you for the super sticker as always, Emma. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Jimbo, Kate and Jim has said this stuff causes mental health problems. Yeah, I do. I do think there is that element of it as well. Is I think when people make videos about others and claim to know their life, you don't know what other people are going through, their situation, their money, their life, their jobs, their wives, their husbands. That it's very easy to pretend you know when you don't. I might as well get these ones out of the way really quickly, guys. So that was all of the people on the old stream. So thank you very much. And on this new stream, because YouTube glitched out, big up to Kevin Holditch, very generous. I said, ignore the hater, Sav. #1 Spurs YouTuber. You seeing this, guys, in the chat, in the panel? You see this, Lubo? I'm going to have to carry the Spurs 5. The #1 Spurs YouTuber. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate that. Kevin, if you're still in the chat, let me know where's Lubo in the rank of YouTubers. Is he like the Archie Gray levels? Big up to you, Kevin. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Mr. Pox Office said Beetlejuice, Bloody M, Candyman, and now Wolfie. The best things coming freeze. Man alive. Need Mr. Box Office for some critical thinking stroke shouting. Well, Mr. Box Office is here in a minute. He's going to tell us all about Thomas Frank and his inability to adapt during games and his in-game management. Big up Daniel Field with a super sticker. Big up to you. Thank you very much. Very, very generous, Daniel, as always. And if that wasn't generous enough, Daniel came in again with another super sticker. Thank you very much, Daniel. Really, really appreciate you. Big up to you, my man. Mr. Pox Office came back in and said, I know a Wolfie stroke MJ impersonator. Wolf, he. Oh my gosh, that is the worst joke of the day. But thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Mark Taylor's come in and said, when was the last time Forest won a cup? Good question. Lubo, surely that's 1/3. Hang on, I've got Nottingham Forest Wikipedia in front of me. Nottingham Forest won
possibly.
They won the league. They won the Football League Cup in 89-90. So they won the League Cup in 1990. Big up to you. Thank you very much, Mark. Yeah, they're a tiny club. Wolfie knows it. Big up to Mark, to Ryan Trostane, who's been a member for 4 months. Said, Sava, how are you? You absolute legend. Stop it, Ryan. I'll get a big head. Stop it. Thank you very much. Rob Welsh has said, Everton in talks with Lubo. Is Gray going too? No, the report was Kubo of Real Sociedad, but maybe they're signing Lubo as well. Maybe they're buying him and Gray in a double pivot. Big up to you, Rob. And then Ryan's coming again. Last but not least, oh no, one more's just come in. It says, Sava, with our history, we are much bigger than Forest. And Wolfie, when we get Morgan Gibbs-White, you will be booing him. And Lubo, please stop with all the Gray loving.
Lubo abandoned Gray. Lubo abandoned him. He said, I'm no longer best friends with Archie Gray. Vuskovic is my new spice. He said it at the weekend.
He's moved to Vuskovic. Big up, Ryan. That's very generous. And Andy Lester's come in and said, big up, Sava. Love the content. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. Guys, Alex is here. Big up, Alex. How are you? Is it a sign, Alex? There's exactly 666 people in here right now. 666. You've appeared on 666. Alex, tell us why Thomas Frank, take 2. Thomas Frank has got poor in-game management. Is this right? Is this correct?
Well, it's just what I've looked at. I've looked at certain things, and one of the things that is one of his weaknesses is his in-game management in certain games. Because like last season, he'd taken the lead in lots of games, a few games, and there were certain games, especially against us. He lost the lead, and that was it really. He lost it, and he wasn't able to get it back. He lost. I mean, I'm not gonna say that we exposed him because we beat him twice last season. There've been games against Fulham as well. Fulham seemed to have his number. Seemed to have had a number last season as well. And there is also a few things about him not able to that he relies on certain players as well. But you know, I think that's the main issue at the moment. I think that's the main question mark. I think that's come out of some of the research, I'd say.
So does that mean any manager that blows a lead has poor in-game management? Because I've seen Man City be winning games and lose. I've seen Chelsea winning games and lose. So does this mean Pep, Klopp, Maresca, Wenger? Does this mean any manager that blows a lead suddenly hasn't got good in-game management, or just that particular game didn't go well for them?
You could say that, yeah, but I think in some way, with him going to a bigger team now, I think because really he had a chance to get into Europe last season, and because he blew games, and this is the same. I mean, I could say the same for. I mean, this is similar criticism to the Bournemouth manager last season because he blew leads as well, and wasn't able to get it back with in-game management as well. So you've got a good point there. I'm just saying at the moment is that this is one of his weaknesses, and in games definitely, and I think he could have done better in those sort of instances. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. Can I ask though? Don't we have to look? I mean, the two teams you've used by way of example, Brentford and Bournemouth. You can argue that neither of them should be anywhere near the top half of a Premier League football table. So when we're going to start talking about, well, they didn't get in Europe because they blew leads. Surely the fact that they were even in the conversation for Europe shows what a sensational job those two managers did, doesn't it?
No, there's no question about it. Yeah, they've really outperformed with the teams they've got. That's not the question I'm asking at the moment. It's just that when you're stepping up to a new team now, a bigger team, those question marks are going to be are going to be there still. because can you answer them in a big team? Can you rectify those question marks in a big team? You see, because these are the sort of the question marks that were aimed at Pochettino when he came in as well. To be honest with you, which is why, and if you haven't watched my stream, watched my shows before, and watched me multiple times about Pochettino, I was very doubtful about Pochettino when he started as well, because there was question marks on him. Because let's be honest, Pochettino got beaten by Tim Sherwood at Tottenham, so at 3-2. So there were certain aspects of him.
But again, Alex, Plymouth Argyle beat Manchester City this year.
Liverpool.
Yeah, no.
Liverpool. Sorry, Liverpool.
Yeah, but this is not my question. This is not my question mark on those sort of teams here. I'm just looking at it like, at the end of the day,
Spurs lost to Colchester.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I think the problem is with our fan base at the moment. I saw it with Postecoglou. Right, and I saw it with and I've seen it with other managers as well. You can't look at the weaknesses of a manager because you're shown as that you can't back him. I'm not here trying to badmouth Thomas Frank and trying to out him.
It does feel, Alex, like we're trying to find anything against him. Like
I don't think, but I think that's unfair to say that though, because I think it's because what we're getting at the moment is that you see videos about, well, you know, you haven't seen what Thomas Frank, this is so good and everything else. And it's all these videos, you know what the videos are like. And I just think sometimes you just need to see the opposite opinion. What can he improve on to show that he can be that manager for Tottenham Hotspur? And that's what the aspect I'm looking at the end of the day, because I don't think in any aspects of any video at the moment anyone's looking at it. It's either you've got to show these positive things and that's all you've got to show and that's it for me. I'm just saying if when he comes to Tottenham, can he improve on certain aspects that he was weak at Brentford? And I think the in-game management thing is important.
Sure, I hear you, but I'm going to push back on at Brentford. Look at the squad he had at Brentford. What are we expecting this man to be bringing off the bench to make changes in games?
Yeah, true. But if he's a coach, he would have upskilled those players to actually get those players to compete.
Hang on. Listen, hang on. This because he's a coach doesn't mean he can just turn every player into a superstar, right? If that was the case, every football club that has a coach, all their players would be amazing. He can get 10% extra out of a player, 15%, 20% maybe, but he can't turn water into wine. He's not going to come here and suddenly turn Richarlison into a clinical goal scorer because that's not his game.
But on what you just said though, Sava, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, well, he's going to turn this player into this player. Oh, he's going to do this. He's going to do that. He's going to do this with these players at the moment. So on that argument,
we have to be honest.
Hang on. What's the difference, Alex? Hang on. I need to. This is again, when I talk about that C word that no one likes, which is context. This is the difference. What we're saying is the people that are saying this are saying that. Big up, Dan. Thank you, mate. I'll see you later.
Take care,
mate. Take care, Dan. Cheers, mate. The difference is, Alex, what we're saying is from what we saw of these players under Ange, we weren't seeing the best of them. We weren't seeing the best of them in their right position. They weren't being played right. They weren't structured right. I think what a lot of people have been saying, and I'll let the rest of the panel join in here, is we think that Thomas Frank will allow them to play their natural game. He will allow Solanke to strike instead of being a midfielder that's running all over the place. He will allow Maddison to be a playmaker. He will allow the centre-backs to be centre-backs. I think that's the point we're making, Alex. It's not that he's going to come in and make all these players amazing. The difference is that Ange had them all performing down here. Frank will have them playing to their level or 10% above their level because he will see what's best to get out of them. I don't know if anyone else on the panel agrees or disagrees with what I've said.
I mean, what Thomas Frank did at Brentford was a miracle. What he did was a miracle. On the budget he had at Brentford, building a new stadium. Let's not forget, Brentford built a brand new stadium because they moved from, what was it, Griffin Park? They moved Griffin Park into the GTEC Community Stadium. I believe that's the name of it. Losing his best players every single year. He lost Ivan Toney. He lost Ollie Watkins. There's obviously a few more. I can't remember them off. What he did at Brentford in a tiny stadium. Brentford Stadium is smaller than one side of Tottenham Stadium. What he did there was a miracle. He made miracles happen. Let's see what he can do at Spurs. Of course, there's going to be a step up from going from Brentford, a few steps up from going from Brentford to Spurs, budget-wise, size, the players that Spurs can attract in terms of player pool, the players that Spurs can create for the academy, because Spurs will have a bigger reach academy-wise. Give him a chance. Give him a chance to see what he does. We'll give him a few years to see what he can do. But for me, Thomas Frank already has shown how good a coach he is.
I don't agree. I don't agree with this whole thing about giving him a chance. I think this is where I don't like this rhetoric that we're saying at the moment. It's not me saying that not giving him a chance. He has, and this is the same attitude I have with Postecoglou. And thing is, though, right, I don't get any credit for what you mentioned. You always mention Dan. No disrespect to Dan, because I love Dan, because he backs me all the time. Yeah, but you're the one that said to me, Saba, at the start of Postecoglou, you said, why do you not give Postecoglou a chance? And then a few months later, you said, oh, no, he's not good enough. Right? So that's why I was saying, that's why I'm saying, and who was the one that said at the beginning of this?
Alex, we're talking about two different managers.
You're
talking about two different managers.
But the point I'm making is, though, it's same to what we're doing right now, right? And the difference is with this one, though, I've got nothing against Thomas Frank. I'm actually very calm about him. But I'm just saying that there are still question marks on him, because those question marks will always be coming up when he's not doing well at the moment. That's what I'm saying. That this is going
to got to be given a chance, though, to prove he can do the job, though, Alex. He's not even managed a competitive game yet.
Yeah, but that's not the point, though. Ben, unfortunately in the Premier League right now, the chances are very, very limited, and when certain things are not right, okay. The question marks are then pointed out straight away, and then you're getting rumors about him getting sacked the next day. You know what I mean? That's how football is today, unfortunately, because the same thing was happening with Pep Guardiola last season. When Pep Guardiola, if you're talking
anyone that wanted Pep Guardiola sacked is just wrong.
But this is what happened. But this is what happened last season, though. We all know this happened last season, because everyone, and it was shocking to me for a manager like that, who's won what he's won, to get all that criticism and critique about his job when he's done what he's done, right? So if that can happen to the best manager over the last 2 decades or last decade or so, how was it not going to happen to a manager that, let's be honest here, right? He's done well for what he did at Brentford, but when you're stepping up to Tottenham with the fan base that they are like right now, right? And with those things against him at the moment, and unfortunately he didn't win anything. I mean, that's the difference between him and
no one expects Brentford to win anything.
I know, but I'm just
no
saying,
one expects Brentford to win anything.
I'm not saying
what should he have won. What should he have won?
Well, he could have actually won the he could have gone for the Carabao Cup. That could be an argument.
Hang on. Sorry, this is where I've got I've listened as much as I can.
Okay,
I'm sorry, but now you're falling into that trap of, I mean, how binary is this thinking? The whole, what has Thomas Frank won? Okay, what should he have won? He could have gone for a league. Hang on. You do realise that Brentford have got like the 19th lowest salary cap in the league. At what point was anyone expecting that Brentford should be going and winning the league or FA Cup? At what point was anyone expecting that? Why didn't Ange win the league or FA Cup then? Why didn't Pochettino win the league or FA Cup?
Well, I don't.
Why didn't Jose win the FA Cup? Why didn't Conte win the FA Cup?
I understand why you're saying that. I understand what you're saying that, but unfortunately, with what we've done, and again, I'm not saying, I'm just putting the argument out there. I don't understand why people in the chat, and it's all right for people to have a go at other people, not have it okay to have a go at other people. But when I'm putting an argument out there, I'm problematic, I'm deluded, I'm tired. I mean, that just shows you where
You've also got a
hypocrisy
lot
is.
of support going for you in the chat, Alex.
I hear you, but I'm here to put a point across.
I think people are just. I can't speak for everyone. I think we're just struggling to understand what the issue is. We've got a manager here that's proven in the Premier League. He's proven, right? He's proven with less resources, right? With lesser players, lesser resources, lesser training facilities, less backing, that he can cope in the Premier League.
Smaller stadium, Sava. Smaller stadium as well, so less income.
Of course. But now I feel like the problem is, I feel like we're trying to find negatives in him before he's even started. Now, yesterday I asked you, right? I asked you, which manager would you have liked instead of Frank? And the answer you gave me, if I'm not wrong, was Glasner.
Yeah.
Right? Glasner blew Leeds last season. If I remember rightly, Crystal Palace were 2-0 up against Man City and lost 5-2. Right? But no one's looking at Glasner and going, oh, what a crap manager. He blew a lead, blah, blah, blah. So I'm struggling to understand what the issue with Frank. I asked you this yesterday as well. I'm still struggling to understand.
I think at the moment he is very underwhelming in that sense. I'm not saying that he's not. He's very underwhelming. The fact that he's for me isn't. I don't think. For me, he's just very underwhelming.
Who wouldn't have been underwhelming?
Can I ask a question, sir? Can I ask a question?
Go.
As manager of Brentford, Alex, what do you expect from him? Where he's been underwhelming? Do you think he has overachieved at Brentford?
I think he has overachieved at Brentford as well, yeah. And I think it's nothing against him. I just think at the moment, I think he just needs to prove it to me. Prove how if he can cope.
Alex.
That's not the argument I'm saying at the moment. I think there's still question marks that I think we don't want to talk about, and I don't think it's negative at all. I think it's just something that I think is worthy to ask at the moment, because even he said it himself. At the beginning of his press conference, he said it's all sun and roses at the moment. I don't know whether that was the right way he said it, but it's all sun and roses at the moment because he's just started. Everyone's happy and everything else. But I think towards the start, when we start and towards the middle of the season and end of the season, we'll start to see whether things are. And I think that's where I think I'm okay to ask those question marks at the moment. It's not that I'm not against him at the moment. I'm not trying to find negatives. I just think there are weaknesses there. And I think
how come there's weaknesses when he's not managed any games yet? Like, he's managed a pre-season friendly. How are we finding weaknesses in a manager?
What about his previous stint at Brentford? That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at his previous stint at Brentford, and I'm saying that he's done well in certain, and he's overachieved.
So I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to ask you this outright question.
Yeah.
Did Thomas Frank overachieve at Brentford?
Yeah.
So what weaknesses were there that were glaring obvious?
There's just certain things about his in-game management with
I don't get this.
Very, very, very
Alex,
reliant on certain players.
Who isn't reliant on certain players? Tell me who isn't reliant on certain players. Look at Chelsea. All I ever hear, God, without Cole Palmer, right? Look at Arsenal. Oh, without Bukayo Saka. Look at Man City. Oh, Erling Haaland's not playing. Who isn't reliant on certain players?
Yeah.
I don't understand. So I feel like you're just trying to find a stick to beat a manager with because he's not the big sexy name that people want.
It's not me finding that. I'm just saying that there are weaknesses there that I think unfortunately it will have to that might come up when he's manager of Tottenham. That's what I'm saying, and he might have to he might have to address those while he's at Tottenham. So that's what I'm saying at the moment, because I think like I said, I think there's a lot saying that he's very good, and I'm thinking, well, if he was that good at the end of the day, he would have gone to a bigger club, in so to speak. That's what I'm saying.
He has gone to a bigger club, Alex. What? He has gone to a bigger club. We are a bigger club than
Brentford. So he has gone to a bigger club. So basically, now we're going to knock the guy because he's not gone to City, Liverpool, Arsenal, or Chelsea.
No, I didn't say that though. I was just saying that. Yeah, but I'm saying that he could go to a big. Yeah, he could have gone to one of those clubs, earlier before Tottenham. That's what I'm saying, because they might have had their
Or
doubts.
perhaps, Alex, one of the things, he didn't want to join Man United because he didn't think the project was right for him. He didn't think the project was right for him. Managers they're not going to go into a losing job. Thomas Frank has obviously joined Tottenham because he thinks the project is right for him and his staff.
Well, fair enough.
And I think it is the right project for him and his staff. Spurs have got plenty of youth players coming through the youth academy. We've got a decent amount of money to spend, much more money than he had to spend at Brentford. We have a much higher wage pool, so we can bring in a much higher caliber of player. This is the right move for him and his staff. He's not going to go to the bigger club if he's going to get sacked in a year because he can't do the job. I mean, Graham Potter found that with going from Brighton to Chelsea. He went to Chelsea. The place was a total mess, and he ended up getting sacked a year after because he couldn't make anything work.
Yeah, but okay. So on the back of that, then, if it's the right project for him, okay, so he's able to get in a reasonable position in the league this season. Then
he's got to steady the ship, Alex. We finished 17th last year. That's the main aim of Thomas Frank this season, is to get Spurs into a decent. We can't be finishing in the bottom 10. Not with the prices we pay, not with the size of the stadium, not with the caliber of football club we are. Thomas Frank's plan this year is to steady the ship and get better out of the players he's already got and add a few additions to it. That is it. And then next season, if we bring in a couple more players, we can head towards maybe trying to go for a bit of silverware. But the idea is to steady the ship. We have to steady the ship this year. We can't have that sort of giving up in January because we can no longer do anything in the league. And we can't do that anymore. Tottenham Hotspur has to be a consistent club on a consistent basis. That's his job this year. Steady the ship.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Again, it's not me trying to. I don't know why I have to keep on saying that I'm not trying to have a go at Frank. I'm just saying that there are weaknesses there, and I'm saying that I think we need to look at those as well, because they might come up during the season, and then we can go back to this conversation and say, oh, this is what's come up. That's it. So I just think it's just a conversation, because there are people that are still needed to be proven about this manager. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that for me, I think that we're trying. I do feel we're trying to find holes in him, right? I think when you've got a manager that's overachieved and earned the right to move to a bigger club, to then say, but he lost games where he was winning. Well, every manager has lost games when they're winning. Yeah. Second of all, when we're saying, oh, well, why didn't he go to a bigger club? Well, let's be brutally honest. Where's he going? Where on earth is he going bigger than Tottenham Hotspur right now? He's working his way up the managerial chain. Maybe he does an exceptional job at Spurs and gets a job at City or Liverpool, right? Or Chelsea. Maybe he does.
Or perhaps a Bayern Munich, Sava. Perhaps a Bayern Munich. Right. Or a team in Europe. I don't know.
But
who knows?
One minute it's, there's question marks about this guy. It's a big step up. The next minute, it's why didn't he go to an even bigger club? Like I just feel like surely we can see the massive body of work. Surely we can see the massive body of work that he's done for 7 years at Brentford and say, what a good job you've done. What a really, really good, solid job you've done. Hardly any managers get 7 years at a football club. And this manager improved that football club year in, year out, got their finances better, brought in young players, skilled them up, moved them on. And like Ben said, not only did he lose, at first, I think he lost what? Ben Rama.
He lost Ben Mee.
He lost Ben Rama, Neil Mopay, Ollie Watkins, Ben Mee. He lost Ivan Toney. Like, constantly losing player after player after player, constantly upskilling players. And yet when he comes to Spurs, we're going, oh yeah, but he blew a few leads. Well, I wouldn't expect Brentford to take the lead in every game and win every game. Otherwise they'd win the league, wouldn't they?
No, I remember when Spurs were 3-0 up to Bolton and we lost 4-3.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, fair point. I'm just saying, I'm just putting the things out there. I mean, there are things for him, and there was something that I saw for him, which it goes against what Andrew Postecoglou said last season about these injuries. I think it was 2023 to 2024 season. I think it was. I might have got it wrong. He had loads of injuries. He had loads of injuries, right? And he got through them. And I think he got Brentford to a good standing, right? And got through it. And I don't think he was moaning about his injuries like what our previous manager was doing. So there are lots of things for him, right? I'm just saying. So there's a positive in what I'm saying to him. You know what I mean about him. But I'm just saying there are. So I mean, I'm not saying that there's all bad. I'm not being here to absolutely badmouth Thomas Frank. I'm just saying that I think we can look at both sides. That's all I'm saying.
Alex, do you think we could get a better manager than Thomas Frank right now?
I would say yes. There are
realistically,
no.
Realistically,
realistically, no.
Who?
If we could, if realistically, who could we get that's better than Frank? Considering where we finished last season.
Actually, you know what, Danny, I'll give you that one. Don't get used to it. I think you made a good question. Now. I can't. I think for me, I'll give up on that one. To be honest, I think you make a good point because I don't think we can. I think
it's not all about who's better though. It's who's the better fit for the club.
Yeah.
But I think. Well, Bayern Munich hired Vincent Kompany, who'd just been relegated, and he's won the league for them.
That's why I will.
You could possibly say that Thomas Frank is a better manager than Vincent Kompany. Yet Vincent Kompany is at Bayern Munich, and Thomas Frank is now at Spurs. It's who is the better fit for the club, and I think at this moment in time, Thomas Frank is the right fit for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
But also, you've got to remember, Ben, look at. I'll give you an example, right? Look at what Xabi Alonso did. Right at Bayer Leverkusen, and now look at where he is. It's the same thing. What did Xabi Alonso do before Bayer Leverkusen? What did he do?
Nothing.
Well, there you go. And that's for Alex, by the way.
Well, the thing is, the example I gave yesterday, Danny, was this: when you look at the Premier League table, if you take out Pep Guardiola, right? You look at Liverpool. Slots come from Feyenoord. Right, so not even a top 5 league, right? You've got Maresca, who came from Leicester. He just got them promoted from the Championship. He's at Chelsea. You've got Eddie Howe, who his last job before taking Newcastle was Bournemouth, actually getting relegated, right? You look at Arsenal, Arteta, who was an assistant manager at Man City. Who else am I missing? Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, City.
Martin Yole.
Look at no, hang on. No. I'm talking about managers now, right?
Oh.
You look at Iriola at Bournemouth, right? You look at Silva at Fulham. All of these managers, according to this rhetoric that Alex is going, wouldn't be good enough for Tottenham Hotspur based on what we're saying. But Maresca's just gone and won the World Club Cup, Conference League, and finished top 4 in the Premier League, and he's come from nowhere. Slot has come from Holland and just won the Premier League immediately, right? So, Arteta's had Arsenal second 3 years in a row, and he wasn't even a manager before this. So I feel like I don't know what we're judging Spurs against, but the bigger clubs have also done the same thing that we're doing, or dare I say lesser managers with lesser experience than Thomas Frank to take their clubs over.
Listen, I think you make a good point. Like I said, I'm not trying to just concede everything that I've said because I do think there's still doubts there in Thomas Frank in certain areas. But if you can say the argument for certain teams like Fulham, Bournemouth, because I mean they've been suspect in certain aspects of in-game management as well. So I'm not saying that. This is not a stick to fight the other managers who we were linked with to come to the club as well. I'm just thinking that in a club like Tottenham, it's going to be heightened with us being a bigger, big team, basically. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to have to answer those questions.
Do you mean, Alex? Do you mean by like having more pressure because the well, what we're supposed to achieve is
Yeah.
higher than what
Yeah.
another team.
Yeah, and it was all right for Brentford. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, but what's he got to do? What's he got to do at Spurs next year? Because I feel like the expectations on this man are going to just be so skewed from our fan base. It's unreal. So in your mind, to make the step up to Spurs, as it stands right now, with our current transfer window the way it is, and the current squad the way it is, what has Thomas Frank got to do to win you over?
He's got to be in. He's definitely got to be in the top 10. He has
Okay.
to be in the top 10.
That's fair.
That's fair. I agree. So do you
Yeah,
think
I
he'll get
agree.
us in the top 10?
He should do. Yeah, he should do.
Okay. So just that. That's the only metric. Get us in the top 10. It's been a successful year.
Yeah. I think. Well, no, I think. In saying I'll be okay with that. I think at the moment, especially what's happened last season, I think for me, it's okay for his first season. But I think definitely next season, I think you've got to do better than that. Obviously, I think that's you should expect that in a top team, especially what we're looking like to spend this season.
So where's he got to finish to exceed your expectations? Year one, where's he got to finish where you go?
Sixth, obviously, yeah, sixth, definitely.
So European positions league wise will be surpassing your expectations of what you expect of him.
Yeah.
Okay. So 8th, 9th, and 10th is the standard. 7th, 6th, and 5th is surpassed. Top 4.
Yeah.
Build the man a statue.
I wouldn't say building him a statue, but I think that's really a good season. Definitely a very good season.
If he got top 4 from the squad we've got compared to how the top 4 are strengthening right now,
Yeah,
I think that would be one of the
100%.
biggest achievements in our history from where we are right now.
Exactly, and especially with the fact that we didn't the points that we had last season. So yeah, I think you are correct on that one, definitely.
There you go.
So,
By the way, here we go. So this is just some stats. So for a manager that's not very good with his in-game management, this is Brentford's shooting stats for the season just gone. Look at those Premier League ranks. Look at those Premier League ranks. He's top for expected goals per shot, top for shooting accuracy, top for conversion rate, top for goals per shot, but bottom for average shot distance. So they don't score many outside the box, basically. Look how good that is. Little old Thomas Frank at little old Brentford.
You got to give some credit though to Justin Cochran as well. Justin Cochran is the attacking guy. I think we got to give some credit to Justin Cochran. But Solanke's going to be looking at those stats and thinking, if he puts me in the box, I'm going to get some goals. And that's all we got to look at. Hopefully, if we can make the players that are floundering last year better, I think Spurs will quite easily get top 8. I think Spurs can get top 8 quite easily. Where we've got to be as a football club, though, is we just got to steady the ship. We've got to steady the ship. We can only look at our league form last year and just say it was unbelievable what happened last year. That can't physically happen again. Steady the ship, build a basis for the next season and see what happens. And that's all we got. That's all Thomas Frank can do. It's all we can do.
Ben, we've got to look at it that we've got a manager who has overachieved at Brentford, that is tactically very astute. Yes, this is his first time at a bigger club. So obviously, he'll be looking to test himself and to achieve what he wants to do this season and going forward. For him, it's a challenge as well. Let's enjoy it. Let's not be looking for, he was bad. At the end of the day, you look at it, you look at the whole situation with Brentford over the last few years, you're looking at it, if you're summarising his stay at Brentford, sure, he's going to have ups and downs, as every manager does during a season. But if you're writing a conclusion on Thomas Frank at Brentford, it's going to be majorly positive. So let's take that. He deserves his chance the same way that Eddie Howe deserved his chance at Newcastle. And let's give, for me, Frank deserves 100% backing. And I just hope the ball don't let him down over the next 5 weeks, 5.5 weeks. by not bringing in the players that he needs.
You promised me that won't happen as Levy's not in charge and Vinay is.
I'm just saying.
You promised me.
Vinay's in charge. Vinay's in charge, and let's hope that Lewis hasn't tied Vinay's hands, and otherwise we're back to ENIC out again, aren't we?
No, can I just make it clear, because I think some of the chat are just getting on my nerves now. I think it's not that they're getting on my nerves. I just think sometimes they just misconstrue what. This is why I do a stream my own. You see what I'm saying? So at least they can, but they don't turn up, most of these people. So it's like on my show, it's like I'm not saying Thomas Frank is not going to succeed. I'm not trying to be badmouth him. I'm just saying that there are weaknesses there with in-game management. Certain things that he's relying on certain players. He's too defensive sometimes, and then it's not balanced enough. So he doesn't. That's where the in-game management maybe go a bit of squiff, right? And I just think in those sort of instances might show up while he's as a Tottenham Hotspur coach. Now, I'm not saying that he's not a very good coach. He looks a very good coach. It's obvious he's a coach, right? And I like the fact that he's got the individual coaches. He's got Cochrane in, who I'm very interested to see how it works with him, right? So there are very good strengths there to really latch onto, yes. But again, without me knowing and seeing how the season rides out next season, I'm okay to have my question marks on the manager, right? And I think I'm making myself pretty clear with what I've just said there. Right, this is the research I've done myself. Right, I've given you a positive about him. He has coached players better, definitely. The latest player was the I forgot his name now, the winger that's still there, not Wissa, the other one. Right, he's done well with Wissa. He's done well with Mbermo. He's done well with most of the defenders, well, and the goalkeeper. Right, and done 2 goalkeepers as well. So there are very much lots of positives there, lots of strengths there, but he's got to prove himself, and I think that should be right. And I now see somebody else now say I'm a waffling now. No, I'm sorry, I'm not a waffler, right? He has to prove himself, and I think that should be for anyone, right? I'm not going to go off what just Sava says, right? No disrespect, Sava, but that's just not how it works.
Everyone has their own opinion, and the whole point of these football chats is we all can have, whether people disagree with people's football opinions, at the end of the day, it's only football. It's nothing to get mad about. Sava, I'm going to jump now. Unfortunately, it's lunchtime. Everyone be nicer to each other. Make sure you subscribe to Football Heritage TV. Get them. And if you're really nice, Tottenham on Tour are 500 away from 10,000 subscribers. So if you can go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour, that would be absolutely wonderful. But big up to everyone on the pack. Just be nice to each other. It's only football at the end of the day, and we can all disagree with each other's opinions in a respectful and in a kind way. But big up everyone. Big up Sava, Lubo, Alex, and Mr. Kiriakou, and we will see you later. Big up.
Thanks, Off the back of that, guys, I am going to do a few super chats and then round up the channel. I think we've done quite a lot of streaming this morning because of the first show stopping and the second one starting. Big up to Kate from the other side of Kate and Jim. She has said, sorry, Sava, but Danny K is definitely the most handsome. Absolute sex god is Danny the Bun. I mean... yeah, I can't deny it. That bun on his head is just too sexy for all men to compete with. He's a sex god. Come on, Danny, put your camera on. Let's see your sexy face.
I'm eating.
Come
that's
on.
why.
Let's see it. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's a face that only a mother could love. Look at it. There it is. Thank you very much, Kate, for that. Big up to you.
I love the jealousy, Sam.
Big up to Leon King, who's become a YouTube member. Big up to you. Thank you, Leon King. Really do appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. You're now welcome to join the members-only shows. So thank you very much. Martin's come back in again and said, Frank loves tactics, but you can't win them all. Yeah, of course. There's going to be games that they lose. And I think what was interesting last year was, let's use Glasner, for example. I remember, I wanted Glasner. I think he's a top manager. And then Glasner had those 2 games in a row, didn't he, where they conceded 10 goals, I think. They conceded 5 to City and then 5 to maybe Arsenal. And then everyone started going, "Oh, see, shit, you all wanted Glasner. Look, he's rubbish." It was like, we're all very quick. We're all very quick. Look at the body of work they've done. Big up to you, Martin. And then the last one, Chopped Cheese, said, "Alex is full of hot air and waffle. Never heard so much stuttering and terrible arguments. Sava roasted him yesterday when he asked to come in with his stupidity." Well, listen, Chopped Cheese. Alex is just saying his own truth, my man. And the whole point is we want people to come with different opinions, don't we? So, listen, whether or not I agree with what Alex is saying, it's not a terrible argument. It's the argument that we need to have. It's the debate that we need to have. So I'm glad that Alex has come on. I'm glad he's given that opinion.
Mr. Waffle King TV.
So, we need different opinions. I say this all the time. If we all sat around and agreed with each other, it would be well boring. It would be so boring. On that note, please subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. Please subscribe to Mr. Box Office. Please subscribe to this channel, as we're only 243 away from 20,000 subscribers. And please do subscribe to the Spurs 5. We are going live tomorrow night, 8 p.m. with our launch show. 8 p.m. Myself, Lubo, Stel, Sean, and of course, Johnny. So big up to each of you. Thank you very much for all your support. Big up to Mark, who's just gifted one Football Heritage TV membership. And that was gifted to Luton. Dan has received that. By the way, some breaking news from Tottenham is that Tottenham, we don't just have one friendly now on Saturday. Tottenham are playing Luton. But before that, we're playing Wickham. So they've squeezed in an extra game at 11 a.m., I believe it is. If I'm not wrong, I believe that Spurs have put in a game at, let me just get this right. 1 second.
2 games.
Yeah, let me get this right. Here we go. So there you go. Tottenham Hotspur will face Wickham Wanderers in an additional pre-season friendly at Hotspur Way on Saturday at 11 a.m. The fixture will take place ahead of our trip to Kenilworth Road to face Luton Town, allowing Thomas Frank an opportunity to hand more match minutes to more players. I have no idea how he's going to do Tottenham to Luton in 2 hours. I've got no idea if he's going to be at both games, if he's going to have an A team and a B team. I don't know.
He must have.
But you know what?
He's got to, right?
I'll do a live watch along for both games. We'll do a live watch along for both games. They're on Spurs Play. And watch out in the next couple of days. I'm just trying to sort out a time with Lubo for us to do Sovereign Lubo's Ask Us Anything. It was going to be today, but because we've gone on so long today, I don't really want to do another one so close. So I'll speak to Lubo about that backstage. Take care. Much love. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Alex. Thanks, Lubo. Thanks, Sean. Danny. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Wolfie. Thanks, Billy. Thanks, Ben. And I think that was it. Thanks, everyone. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.